Hey guys, how's it going? Let me send out this link real quick and then we can get started. So let me just send this out right here. All right. Facebook. It's on there too. Send this link out. Yeah, guys, I'm not sure if you guys were aware, but there was a ton of news this morning. So I'll go ahead and take a look at that soon too, so I can show you guys what happened. And then we can move forward with this. Oops, this is the wrong one. Oops, wrong link. Let me get the right link. There we go. Link out real quick, and let me post it on our Facebook real quick. To our email. And I think one last place. Last place would be to our IG real quick. So guys, give me 1 second. Let me just finish posting this up real quick, and then we can get started. All right, the last place is the Instagram. Check this. Oops. All right, one last place. So I'm turning so slow today. All right, screenshot that. Swipe up feature. And they always change these swipe up buttons. I like the original one, but they keep let's use these other ones. All right, so I think that's it. So it looks like we're pretty much good for these links. Let me pull up the chat real quick. Let's see what's going on over here. Let's see. Morning, Andrea. Morning, Flynn. Morning, Joey. Morning, Josh. Morning, John. Morning, Victor. Morning, Trell. Morning, Emma. Morning, Don. Morning, Karen. Morning, Matt. Morning, Larry. Morning, John. Morning, Hope. Morning, everybody. So let's get this started. Let's see. It's about 6:27. So let me turn on my alerts real quick for US 30, and then we can start looking for trades. So hopefully you guys hit some TPs last night. Obviously there was a lot of news this morning. I'll go ahead and check the news as well to show you guys what happened. So hopefully you guys use the exit strategy, for a majority of your positions. If not, looks like some of them hit full TP. And you might have gotten kicked out of like a few of the other trades. Let me go ahead and show you guys the news this morning. So we had a ton of news this morning. We had the non-farm employment change that was this morning at 5:15. That's probably why you saw like some crazy spikes in price. And then right now, the Bank of Europe, Governor Bailey is speaking currently in about 2 minutes. So it's probably going to affect the GBP pairs. That's why we held off on the trades. And then even more tonight, we have, not tonight, this afternoon, we have FOMC that happens monthly. So today's a heavy news week. That's probably why you see price moving pretty crazy. But over the night, I think we hit a couple TPs. So for odd CAD, we hit full TP right here for a gain of 60 pips. You know, obviously, if you took that trade, I did give updates in the group over here. For odd CAD, we hit full TP right here, 60 pips. If you were taking standard lots, about 600 in profit. You know, mini 60, and then micro $6. And then we also hit TP2 for odd USD for a gain of 40 pips right here. Obviously, it retraced back after that. But if you guys use the strategy, you guys probably got out of that trade already. Other than that, I think we hit TP also for NZD/JPY. We're almost at full TP right here. It's just a few pips away, not super far. But it did retrace back, just like I mentioned, you know, due to the news that just happened. So just hang tight. Hopefully, you guys are using the exit strategy for most of these positions. Otherwise, you might get caught in some of this retracement out here. I personally probably want to get out of these trades just because of how the market's now moving. And you know, we're obviously going to take some new trades if some new ones appear. But I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the chat again, see if I'm missing anything right here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then I can analyze pretty much anything you guys want. Or if you guys want me to cover any trading psychology theories or anything like that, just put them in the chat, and I can go ahead and take a look at those as well. So here we got US 30. I'm just gonna make sure that I've identified the market open right here, 6:30. So it looks like we're going to be looking for a buy entry for US 30 today. Since the previous signal was a sell, we definitely wanted to close, or you know, at least cross above this price right here. If that happens, we'll be going for a definite sell. But we'll see how that plays out within the next 10 minutes. We have to wait for this candle to close, and then we'll follow up with that as well as we continue. So let me go ahead and take a look at the chat real quick and see what's going on. Hey, Skilltrade said valid signal already on US 30 early. Yeah, maybe on that open it showed up and it disappeared. We'll see how it plays out. I would probably not want it to open on this specific candle because it's on the opening one. I'd want it to open maybe on the next one or the following after that. And I don't want it to cross above here before we take that long position and ride this up right there. So let's see what else is here before we continue. Morning, Nicole. Morning, Lagnani, sorry, mispronounced your name. Morning, Vishnu. Morning, Varun. Morning, John. Morning, Peter. Morning, Wax. Morning, John Larkin. Morning, Flynn. Morning, Usman. Morning, everybody. All right, so let me go ahead and start a list right here for you guys. I do see some questions coming up right now. I'm gonna start the list, and then from there we can start moving forward. There's been a lot of crazy movements in the market, so I might have to go around and re-update the zones because, you know, obviously we had some crazy movements last night and yesterday. So I'm going to have to update these zones. It shouldn't take too long, but, you know, once we have some downtime, I'll go take a look at that. Or if I end up analyzing a pair from scratch, I'll just clean it up from there as well. So, all right, let me go and take a look at these pairs and see what is going on over here. So let me see if there's anything here. Flynn said, great mentoring session last night. Learned a lot about K2 pivot strategy in depth. Definitely. Yeah, it definitely helps because a lot of people like that scalping strategy. All right, cool. So John wants me to take a look at UK 100. So let's see. John, UK 100. So what else is here? Skills trade. Yeah, we'll look at US 30 as well. Let's see if there's anything else. Flynn said, can we take a look at how the new K2 US 30 strategy would have worked in the past NFP Fridays? Yeah, definitely. So Flynn wants me to take a look at past US 30 NFP, which should be the first week of the month, using new US 30 strat. All right, so Flynn, I got that down right there. All right, we got Euro CHF for Terrell. So let's see Terrell, Euro CHF. See if there's anything else here. All right, John is asking for oil, US oil. I'm assuming you mean US oil, right, John? Because I know there's UK oil and US oil, but I'm assuming you're asking for US oil. It's fine. They're the same thing, so I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference. Hey Billy, what's up? How's it going, bro? All right, cool. So I have a couple questions here. The first one is for John. He wants UK 100. Flynn wants me to look at US 30 with regard to NFT in the past, using the new strategy that we've started to implement. After that, we have EURCHF for Trell, and then we have US oil for John. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And just a reminder, if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way we can continue to grow this channel and I can continue to give you guys free advice every morning and hold these live sessions. So that's about it, guys. Let's get started. First question is from John. He wants me to take a look at UK 100. So let's pull that up right here. That's a huge bullish move up. Did you guys have, yeah, I think you guys had a call yesterday, right? Yeah, so unfortunately, you guys took a sell right here and it hit stop loss, but you know what happens. We did have a hot streak for UK 100 already, so I wasn't anticipating anything less from this. It looks like the reason for this huge push up was, I don't know if there was news last night. Let's see. So yeah, there wasn't really any news last night, but I mean, they were preparing for this GBP news this morning. So let me see how this played out right here. I'm going to go on the 1 hour and then just draw up these zones real quick, just to see, you know, what will cause these crazy movements. Actually, I'll go on the 10-minute. So let's go on the 10-minute over here, see if there's any technicals that can actually give some hints with regard to why it spiked up like that. Doesn't really look like there's too much here indicating the spike up, but I mean, it looks like price kind of came down, rejected off the structure, and then it just skyrocketed from there. But I don't really see anything specific causing this spike up right here. So basically the spike up happened, well, the break and retest happened about midnight London open. So looking at this right here, yes, you guys took this signal right here. You know, applying the new strategy that, you know, we've been looking at recently, we probably would have avoided this trade. But you know, like I mentioned, if the entry is really good, then we would have taken it anyways. But let me just rewind to this place over here. So this looks like the entry that you guys took last night. I mean, it looked like it was going to come down, right? Because we had our nice rejection off this point over here. So let me just give you guys the, you know, the scenarios here that we could have looked at when taking this trade. So we had a nice rejection off this point, and then it was followed by obviously some very strong bearish candles. So I could see why the London group saw this as a good entry. The only difference is that this was at a high that hasn't been tested in a long time. So it was kind of iffy as to whether it would continue up or if it would, you know, drop down heavily. It kind of looks like people got trapped in this trade because it looks like it's going to come down, right? So it looks like it established a high up here and then it came down followed by a sell signal. The only problem with this is that it closed like within this structure right here, and then it ended up reversing right back from that point. It was like a fake out basically. It was a break and retest. The price broke, retested, and then it shot way up from here. You know, one thing that I would take into consideration, John, for this is if I was applying the new strategy that I was discussing. I know we haven't discussed it in detail yet, but me and the backtesting crew is we're going to have a meeting, I think, on Thursday. Yeah, we have a meeting on Thursday where I'm going to cover the new strategy with everyone so that we can all be, you know, on the same page. But basically right here, I would have wanted this sell signal to close below here, below the previous signal before I took that trade, because to me, this just looks like a little retracement before it shot way back up over here, obviously, right? So right here, it ended up shooting up like that. But this would have been hard to identify because just looking at this entry from here, before we saw all of this over here, this looks like it would have dropped, you know, obviously. So that's why you guys took that sell. And then also following your guys' strategy. Obviously, I didn't create the London strategy because I don't trade it myself. But following this specific strategy right here, this would have, I mean, I guess it looks like it would have fell, right? Because it established a high right here. We had a sell signal. So I think you guys had a short position right here. Unfortunately, it ended up reversing within this structure right here. So that's basically what happened in my perspective. My perspective, it looks like price broke structure, it retested, and then it closed above like this. You know, it's a clear break and retest right here. It's like a tweezer, right? It came up, broke, retest, followed by a bullish engulfing candle right here. And then after that, it ended up shooting all the way up. So, I mean, it happens, guys. You know, our win rate for UK 100 is still pretty high. So these losses are going to come and go. Like for something like this, we couldn't have really avoided this unless you were analyzing it from a different perspective. Of course, I'm analyzing it from a different perspective because we've already seen the move. But if I was just taking it using the original strategy that we originally used, obviously we wouldn't have, obviously skipped this because it's been good for the past couple days or so. So. That's pretty much it for UK 100. It looks like it's coming back down, but then it's also, so it looks like it's just retracing down slightly right here. I think if if there's a buy signal and it closes above here, it's going to qualify for the new strategy. So if it closes above here, or if it just crosses above here, if it crosses above here, and we have a buy signal, then I would anticipate that to shoot up even further. But it is at a very high. I don't know if this is an all-time high. Let's see. Yeah, it's at a very all-time high. So this is as high as it's been for a long time. So right here, this would be at a very high. So I probably wouldn't continue writing it up just yet. You know, I want some confirmation. I want some structure to be created within this area. But yeah, I mean, the sell was just unlucky, honestly. It wasn't something that could have easily been identified. It just happened, you know. So that's it for that. Let me go ahead and take a look at US 30 real quick. We just got an alert. It's an invalid sell. So it's an invalid sell, but it did close above here. So if this does close, I mean, invalid buy. If this does close, we'll put a buy stop order right here. And then we'll probably just wait for it to swing back up before we write it up. But we're gonna see how this plays out. So we have about 10 minutes left on this candle. I'll go ahead and come back to this shortly. But until then, we will wait for some extra confirmation on this one. So let me see what else we got here before we move forward. Let me go through the chat real quick, see if I missed anything before we continue on. So let's see. Velocity said, "Damn, bro, you only trade oil?" Not me. I don't trade oil at all. I mean, I used to a long time ago. Charles asking, do you have a recommended strategy for crypto? Not really, Charles, because crypto is it's a speculative asset. There's not really much data to go off crypto, you know, because there's not, like, it hasn't been in the same area for a long time. So the zones aren't really that strong. Like, we do have zones here, like the ones that we've drawn, but they're not really, they're not strong like the Forex pairs. Like, if you look at the other ones that we follow, like, I don't know, one of the basic ones, Odd Cat over here. If you're looking at this, you know, this has years and years of data where we can pull where these zones have been created, you know, weeks ago. Like, this same zone that's being tested right now was tested back in 2018, 17, 16, 15, all the way back up until 2008 or even 2003, actually. So this same price zone has been tested way back in 2004 or 2003, and we're able to pull data that, you know, price is likely to, you know, reject from these specific prices. The thing with Bitcoin or any other crypto is that it hasn't came back and created zones, right? Like, probably the biggest zoned area would probably be right here, but it's way above it already. It's at an all-time high. So I personally wouldn't, I mean, it depends on how you're trading it. If you're swing trading it or trading it long term, then one way to do it is to just buy the dips, right? So in order to buy the dips, you can use the K2SR indicator to identify where the zones are. So for example, here on Bitcoin, you can find where the closest zones are. So obviously right here, the closest zone is going to be right down here, right? So this could be the area to buy if you're trying to buy and hold long term. So if you want to buy and hold long term, these could be area like buying zones right here. So whenever price comes down, you can buy the dip. Even down here, you can buy the dip as well. So that's one way to trade it. It's kind of similar to like stocks. Like, if you know how to trade stocks, people buy the dip, right? A lot of people can use the K2SR zones to see where price dips. So like basically right here, if price broke into this area and dropped back down, you could have bought more Bitcoin right here. Price came back up, came down for another retest, bought some more Bitcoin here, swung up right here, broke this structure, came back down, bought some more Bitcoin right here. And then you just pretty much buy these dips every time it comes up, right? It comes down, you buy the dip. It comes up, comes back down, you buy the dip right here. And then as it continues to grow, you can just keep buying the dip as it continues to push up further. It's just like with stocks. Like this is pretty much how you would trade stocks long term. You would look at something like, I don't know, something that's been pushing for a long time. What's a good stock? Amazon. So if you had money to buy Amazon and you're trying to do these like long-term holds, you know, basically what you could do is you can just go like on the daily or something like that, or even the weekly. Maybe the weekly would probably be better because these are like long-term stocks. So basically here, if you had the K2 indicators and you're trying to, you know, buy stocks, it's the same strategy that you would use for Bitcoin as well. Like you would just draw the zones here, and these would be the buy zones, right? So you have these zones here. These identify where you can buy the dip. Like a lot of people always say to buy the dip, but nobody knows where the dips are, right? If you have the K2 indicators right here, you can make a ton of money trading not just stocks, but like a lot of other stuff for like long-term holds. Like if you're trading a big company and you're wondering where price is dipping from, you just go on the higher time frame. You draw your zones right here, and then every time price comes down and tests these zones, you just buy more, and then you just hang on to them. And then you can set your stop loss like slightly below the previous one. So if it drops too low, you can get out and then just hop back in as it swings back up, right? It's really simple. Like a lot of people make trading super difficult, but it's not. Like depending if you're trading stocks or if you're trading anything else. Like if you're trading Amazon here, right? So you're trading Amazon like way back in like 2012. So price comes up, it comes back to test the dip. You buy some right here. Let me see if there's this. Let me see if there's a symbol here that I can show you where to buy basically. Yeah, I'll put a smiley face. So right here, you buy the dip, right? Again, right here, it dips back down. You buy the dip, right? Comes up, test this right area right here. You can't grab the face. All right, you buy the dip again right there. And then every time it comes back down, you just keep buying the dip, right? So if you did this with Amazon, you know, for years, you would have made a ton of money because you would hold it from here, and every time it dips down, you just buy some more because this is something that you know will continue to push up. Obviously, this isn't something that you do with Forex or anything like that because we're not, you know, we're not buying and holding for very long term. Basically, every time it comes up, comes back down, you just keep buying right here. So if you were to buy a bunch of shares of like Amazon, and then why isn't this thing like pasting? Am I copying it over? Okay. So basically, like right here, you just keep buying, and then every time it comes back, you just buy some more, and you just keep getting, you know, your account just keeps growing and growing as it continues further. So if you just kept buying in these areas and you held like from here, welled up to here, you'd be super rich by now, right? Same situation with Bitcoin. Like with Bitcoin, you do the same exact thing. Bitcoin USD. Because for Bitcoin, I see it as a long-term asset. I don't really see it as like, you know, day trading it. I mean, some people do day trade it, but it's just too risky. But if you were to, you know, buy the dips when our Bitcoin dipped, you'd be freaking rich by now because you could be buying it from right here when it was like, you know, 300 bucks. Every time it comes back down to 100, you buy some more. Comes up to here, swings back down to 300, you buy some more. Swings up to here, and then you just keep buying as it keeps dipping. Like obviously right here, you'd probably sell off when it gets to this point, or if it drops to like too far of a level, and then you just rebuy again as it continues up. You cash out right here, it comes up, comes down, you buy some more at 7,000, comes up, swings back down, you buy some more at 6,000, and then you just keep buying and holding. You know, that's the long-term strategy for Bitcoin. I don't really trade it short-term, so I wouldn't necessarily, you know, actively trade this. It's just going to eat up your costs, guys. If you keep buying and selling Bitcoin, it's going to eat up your costs, especially if you're trading with a broker that doesn't, you know, trade these assets quickly. Like if you're trading on Coinbase, you're going to lose a lot of money paying fees. But that's like one strategy that you guys can use. Super simple. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that I need to look at before I continue further. Usman wants me to take a look at GA, so let me add that to the list right here. Oh, fuck, US 30. Okay, cool. So this didn't close yet. We have 2 minutes left on this candle. And then we will probably be taking this entry right here, guys. So before I continue moving forward, let me take a look at US 30 real quick. Let me have my phone ready. I've got like 1 minute left. I'm gonna take this trade on my accounts. Let's see. All right, guys, let me get this over here. US 30. All right, guys, we got 30 seconds left. I'm gonna enter this at market when it closes. Let's see. We got 20 seconds left, guys. I already have my phone ready in my hand. I'm about to take this entry for a buy on US 30. So we got 15 seconds left. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm in the trade, guys. All right, so if you guys want to enter with me, feel free. I'll be posting this to the premium group right here. I'm already in the trade, guys. So if you guys want to enter it, enter it. Let's see. All right, so we're good right there. Let me input my FTMO parameters now. 5. I'm in profit already, guys. Position's looking good so far. Profit target right there. All right, so it looks like we're, I mean, for the most part, we're pretty much good to go. All right, so let me just go back to the original over here. All right, so we're in the trade, guys. Leave that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the alerts real quick. CP1 750, CP2. Stop loss. All right, guys, I got my alert set up right there. We're pretty much good to go. I'm just gonna set up my stop loss TP for my FTMO real quick. Let me just forward this to premium group right here, so everyone has some nice. And I'll show you guys everyone's profits too. A lot of people took a whole bunch of profits for a bunch of these other trades over here. Nice, Vinny locked in some profit off here off this sell, rejected off that point. He had the rejection right there, sell signal, broke structure again, and he just wrote that down right there. So Vinny locked in some nice profits off US 30 right here. I mean, everyone locked in some nice profits last night. So we got Vinny right there with the 63 bucks. We have Varun over here. He locked in about 100 bucks trading UK 100 yesterday. KT over here locked in about 533 scalping, and then he closed it out with about 600, 608. So these are all K2 members right here. These aren't my profits. They're just K2 members. Nibras over here locked in about 3,802. He took my GN trade and the UK 100 trades. Sisuk over here locked in a bunch of scalps, scalping UK 100. And Isai over here locked in. He said, my profits New York session, Asia session today. Nice. Isai locked in, or Mursabah, he locked in about 114. Locked in about 130 there. 130 there. I don't know if these are reposts. They might be reposts of the same thing. Let me just delete these so we don't have the reposts on there. VA side, that's a nice profit right there for you. Nebras locked in another 1,000. CSU scalping some more for US 30. Everyone locked in some pretty nice profits yesterday and this morning. So Cheryl over here locked in about nearly 1,000. Didn't break any records, but she's happy with her 2 accounts. She locked in about 2,000 in total right there. Here's Dennis over here. Dennis killed it with all the positions I called yesterday. Odd CAD. He took a couple of his own as well. Locked in about 130. Noel as well, locked in a couple $100. David over here locked in about 1,300. Tam over here locked in some nice profit right here, about 300 right there. And then you include the other trades over here as well. Usman over here locked in about 101. Paula locked in about 1,000. So everyone in K2 is eating, guys. You can see here, January 5th, the date. Everyone locked in, some massive profits overall for everyone. Josh over here, nice work, bro. He locked in about 300. Key over here locked in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 900 to 1,000 right there. Nebras over here passed the FTMO. Congrats. Another funded K2 trader right here. CT locked in about 4,000 off USD CAD. His other account, he locked in some more profit there as well. So we have a ton of profit from yesterday, guys. The whole K2 family is like eating this whole week. The market just started. Here we go with the US 30 about the TP1. Let me get my my thing ready. If you guys remember what I did yesterday, we got a little something here for you guys. If I could find it. All right, we can get that ready. Let me set my TPs up for my FTMO. I haven't set them up yet. So we got, let me see. My TP for 295. Our TP for 30595. Yeah, it's set up good. Yeah, it looks like it's yeah, everything looks good right there. So everything's set up on my FTMO. I'm in profit about $500 on each of my accounts. I have 3 FTMO accounts, guys. So I'm up about $600. Looking nice, looking nice. Other than that, we'll continue on further. So I think that's about it for here. Let me go back to the questions and see if there's anything that I missed before we continue further. So Usman wants me to take a look at GA. So Usman wants GBP USD or GBP AUD and GBP NZD. So he thinks it's going to go further. I think so too. We'll take a look at that. Plus Bailey speaking. Yep, I agree with that as well. Skill Trade said that closing within the structure situation is the exact reason why I didn't take yesterday's US 30 buy. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I agree. Skill Trade said it worked out for those who took the morning trade though. Congrats to all those who jumped in. Nice, nice. Flynn said UK 100 respected the K2 SR zone very well. Saw that definitely. Don said, there we go. We got TP1 for US 30, guys. Oh, where you at, David? Is David here? Let's see. I don't think David's in the room yet. Yeah, we do got the buzzers going this morning, guys. So we hit TP1 right there. US 30. Let me see how much profit I'm in right now. I'm in profit. Nice. I'm in profit about 1,000 on each of my accounts. I'm up like about 3,000 right now. For US 30, we're only in this trade for not even that long, guys. But I'm gonna hang on to it. I'm gonna let it run a little further, and then we'll continue to see what goes on from here. So we hit TP1 for US 30, guys. Congrats if you guys took that profit right there. We hit it. Let me get another one here for David real quick. For that, we're gonna run that back once we hit full TP in a little bit. But I think that's about it. Let me see if there's anything else that we need to look at before we continue. Yeah, so everyone over here is talking about US 30. We had some profit off that. US 30 looks like. All right, cool. We look good, guys. So everything looks good. Everyone's in profit. Flynn said back to David's clubbing days. All right, guys. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can, we have a couple of viewers in here, but we haven't had that many likes. If you guys can like the stream, that'll definitely help, and I'll continue to keep coming on here and giving you guys these, all my trades and all my advice for free. As long as we continue to grow the channel. So if you guys can like the stream, if you guys haven't already, that would definitely help. Otherwise, we will go down these questions. So we have about 5 questions here. Flynn wants me to take a look at US 30, identifying, the past entries during NFP. Trell wants me to take a look at Euro CHF. John wants me to take a look at US oil, and Usman wants me to take a look at GBP odd and GBP NZD. Meanwhile, I have my alert set up for US 30. So once we hit full TP, you guys will hear the buzzer again for everyone to wake you guys up. Money's there, guys. We're making money right now. Everyone's profiting. You guys saw all the profit here. So if you guys are part of the K2 fam, everyone in K2 is eating, guys. It's not just me that's making all these profits. It's literally everybody. So, just keep that in mind. If you guys are in K2, you guys are ready, and you guys are in for a good trading year, guys. Just like we did last year. We had a crazy trading year last year. I know it's probably unbelievable for a lot of new people that are just joining, but I got a whole year of profits from everyone in K2. So we got right here. This is today's date, and then January 5th. If we go back to January 4th, I got days and days of profits here, guys. It's not just me. It's the whole K2 fam that's profiting. Well, like on the 24th, on Christmas Eve, Tam was locking in some profits. She got her own Christmas present right there. Alice locked in about $400. We can scroll up even further. Random date. Sisu locked in about 1,000 on the 18th. We can go back to like December 15th over here. Cheryl locked in about 1,000. So you see everyone in K2 is locking in heavy profits, guys. You guys can check the date over here. I could scroll up even farther. Back in November, every single day, day in, day out, the same people are profiting, right? Tam, Sam, Arik, Spencer, Mark, Kia, Charles, Lisa, everybody here. We just keep going on further. November 13th, Paula, Camo, everyone, guys. Noel. Same people, not the same people. It's the whole group of people that are profiting every single day with K2. So if you guys are brand new here, welcome. If you guys haven't already, just like the stream, help us continue to grow the channel, and I'll continue to come live for you guys every day. So that's it for that right now. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at US 30 for Flynn. He wanted me to take a look at the previous US 30 entries during NFP. So I'm going to open a fresh chart right here. I'm going to zoom out from this point. And let's go like from the first week of every month. So like going back to December, I think it was like December. Let me pull up my calendar because you see when that Friday was. So for December over here, the first week was on the 4th. So let me go back to the 4th over here. December 4th was NFP for December. So December 4th over here. Let me see that over here. So 3rd, the 4th was right here, 6:30. So here's the new strategy that we were discussing, Flynn. So basically right here, obviously the opening candle would have to be above the previous candle. So previous candle is right here. If we were applying that strategy to this entry right here on NFP last year, it looks like it would have hit full TP. So there we go. We got that set up right there. And then we zoom out from this point. We let the trade run. And let's see if it hits. All right, there we go. So NFP last year, we hit full TP. Very nice. Let's see for November. So we hit full TP from last month's NFP. Then we'll go back to November 6th. That would be NFP for November, which would have been, let's see. So November 6th is right here, 6:30, right there. So this right here, we probably wouldn't, I don't know if we would have taken this trade. We might have taken this trade, but it didn't qualify for the new strategy. We would have skipped this trade right here because price didn't close above this area. But you can see that price was in consolidation for like the longest time. The problem with this month right here for NFP was that this was elections week, right? The 3rd was elections, I think, or the 4th. So we were just not even trading during this time because the market was just flat. It wasn't even moving at all. So this might be an outlier where we wouldn't have taken this trade. But if we were to take this trade, normally not applying the new strategy, you could have taken a long position here if you wanted to take a risky trade. And then if you were to let it run, looks like we would have hit, let's see. Looks like we would have hit full TP anyway. So even if we were applying the new addition to the strategy or not, we would have hit full TP right there. So that's it for November. We'll take a look at October. I think NFP for October was either the 2nd or the 9th. So we'll look at the 9th first for October. I can't remember if NFP was on the 2nd or the 9th because October was a short week. So for example, right here, if we were applying the new strategy for the 9th right here, we would have avoided this loss right here, right? Because the reason for that is that this is the first signal. If we're applying the new addition to the strategy, it would have to close above here, right? I mean, it would have to, actually, no, we would have taken this trade because it closed below here and it would have qualified. So this might have been a loss, I think. You know, obviously you can't win every trade, but I don't think this was NFP because the first week of October was on the 2nd. So we'll just look at this anyways. This looks like it might have been a loss, but I will show you guys anyway, just to be fully transparent. You know, we don't win every single trade. Right here, obviously it pulled down a little bit, then it retraced up, and we would have hit stop loss. But generally, I don't like to trade on Fridays anyway, so we probably didn't even take this trade realistically. And now that I think of it, we didn't take this trade because the 8th was my birthday right here. So I actually wasn't even online this night. So this morning on the 9th, we didn't take this trade. Thankfully, we didn't because it would have lost. But let's go to the 2nd over here. I think this might have been the NFP entry because this was the first week of October. So the first week of October was right here. The 6th was right here. So yeah, for this trade right here, we would have skipped this trade because, you know, like I mentioned, this would have been the first signal, but since the price didn't close below this area right here, we would have avoided this. And then if price ended up closing above here for the following signal, we would have taken that one. So we would have avoided this trade right here. We would have waited for the next signal, which would have been, let's see if it comes up anytime soon. So like right here, we would have taken this right here because like I mentioned, if price didn't close below here, we'd skip this one and then take the next one right here. So we would have taken this buy signal right here for about 150 or 1500 pips. And then I think it would have hit, let's see. Oh, so this would have hit stop loss too. So it doesn't look like it works every time. It just depends on the market conditions, right? So this doesn't hit right here, but it doesn't matter because if we took this one right here, it also would have lost, I think. So whether we took the original entry or whether we took the new addition, it was just a bad day for trading, right? That's why I normally don't trade on Fridays. So it would have hit stop loss here. And if you would have avoided this one, waited for the next one, it looks like it slightly would have hit stop loss, but then it looks like it would have pushed up and hit TP here at some point, right? Let me see. Yeah, you can see here the market is just not really moving smoothly because it usually moves directional, but it was consolidating majority of the time here. Well, yeah, eventually it would have hit TP here. It just slightly hit stop loss. So if your stop loss was a little bit wider, you probably would have survived this move and hit TP eventually. You know, like 2 days later. But I think we were avoiding trades during this time because there was news, and I generally don't normally trade on Fridays. We'll go back one more month, and then after that, we'll continue on with the questions so we don't linger on these for too long. So the previous NFP would have been on the 4th. And this is the reason why I don't trade on Fridays, guys, because the market moves weird. Obviously, you can see sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, but it's very iffy with how the market is pushing for that specific day because it's a heavily manipulated day. You know, obviously NFP, you're going to see some spikes in price. So looking back over here on the 4th, let me just check this real quick. 6:30, which was right here. So yeah, using the new strategy for this one over here, yeah, using the new strategy right here, we probably would have skipped this trade because it would have had to close up here. And then we'd have to look for the next entry, which would have been right here. However, we would have skipped this one too, because it would have to close below here at the low of this candle. So we'd look for the next one. The next candle would have to close above here or cross above it with a signal. And if it does, then we would take that trade. All right, so right here, it's closed above it, right? Reason for that is because it closed above this previous signal. We take a long position here. And then let's see if it actually would have played out. Yeah, so full TP right there. So, you know, it really depends on how the market's moving. But it looks like it's pretty solid, I think, for the most part. It does actually play out very well. It just really depends on when you're trading it. But me personally, I still don't like to trade on Fridays, so I wouldn't risk it just for like, you know, that one little extra profit or whatnot. So I'll go ahead and delete that right there. And then we'll go back to the questions. Looking at US 30 right here, it's about to hit full TP. So if you guys did enter that trade when I called it, you know, it's looking great. So we'll see how this is going. Let me see if there's anything else going on in the chat before I continue on further. Nice. I'm thinking about taking off my TP, guys. Actually, I'm gonna take off my TP and I'm just gonna keep riding this thing, man. All right, I'm in profit about 1,800 right now. You know, I'm not gonna get greedy. I'm just gonna let it play out, guys. So I'll let it play out, and then I'll probably, you know, exit this trade if need be. Definitely want to let it hit a full TP though. Yeah, no problem, Flynn. All right, I'm thinking about taking off my TP right now. I'm in profit 2,000. Should I do take off my TP or what? Yeah, looks like I'm gonna take it off. All right, guys. So I'm gonna like not pay attention to you guys for a few seconds. I'm gonna keep watching this because I'm gonna exit this manually if it ends up getting a little crazy. So here we go. I'm in profit 2,000. About to hit full TP right now. I'm just manually watching my MT4 right now. So you guys can see right here, I'm in profit. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm in profit like 2,000 something on one of my accounts. But I got there we go, man. We're in profit. Let's go. TP. All right, I'll manually exit. Fuck it. I'm good. There we go. All right, man. Let's keep it going. So there we go. Full TP, guys. I took my TP off and then I just closed it myself. I should have just watched it, but I didn't want to. I don't want it to reverse on me. So let's go, guys. All right, man. Full TP, full TP. Hopefully you guys took that trade with me. I locked in a nice 6,000 within a few minutes with you guys. Woo, guys, let's check this out. I'm gonna send you guys my profits. Oh man. Oh yeah, it's looking good. All right, cool. So for this specifically, let me see if I can find this. All right, nice, nice. So hopefully you guys made some nice profit off that. Man, you know, I took some stupid scalps last night, guys. So I actually lost some money last night. I'm not gonna lie. I'll show you guys the picture of everything that I hit. But yeah, I did take some stupid. I did take some stupid trades last night, which is my bad. So I don't care. But I want to show you guys anyways. So let me see if I can find anything here. Oh shit. Nice, nice. So I'm glad I pulled out because look at the profits on that right now. So I'll just show you guys my profits for the month so far. Let me see if I can go further back. See if I'm like missing anything here. So if I go back far enough, sorry guys, I'm just looking at my stuff here to see if I could, okay, I think this is where I would do it. I'm gonna send you guys a screenshot of my profits. so you guys can see what's good. All right, so I think that's good right there. I'm just gonna take a screenshot of all of my accounts so you guys can see what's good. Oh, I forgot my FTMO accounts are a little different. So I forgot I have multiple FTMO accounts. I'll show you guys the profits for. Yeah, I forgot I started a brand new one recently. $288. Trying to figure out where these numbers are coming from. Okay, cool. So let me send you guys my profits real quick, and then we'll see what is good. So we got 10,000 on that one. So I'll just send you guys my monthly profits for all my accounts for the month so far for January, which have been pretty nice. I mean, it's been good so far for the most part. Let me just show you guys right here. Trying to figure out which one's the right one. All right, there's that. So you guys will see my account that I do have some losses. I took some stupid trades last night where I lost because I was scalping like an idiot. You know, I don't scalping. Oh, fuck. I should have just left it open. Look at that. Damn. I just noticed it shot up again. Whatever. All good. I'll take my profits as it is. Yeah, let me give you updates for this trade right here. All right. So hopefully you guys locked in some really nice profits off that. I'm happy with my profits, guys. I'll show you guys my profits right now. So far on FTMO. So there is the winner right there. And some nice profits off that US 30 full TP. All my accounts. Oops. What do I do with that? All right, so I'll send you guys my profits right now just to show you guys what's up. Send that over here. Send this over there as well. All right, so you guys have seen my profits if you guys are in the groups, any of the groups actually. So you guys can see for my main funded account right here, I locked in about 7,000 for the month, 7,560. Obviously, you can see I do have wins and losses, guys. They're not all wins, obviously, right? You know, I'm fully transparent with you guys. I don't have 100% wins. I do lose sometimes, but overall, I'm in profit. So for the month, I'm profit about 7,560. You can see my payout right here from FTMO is like small last month because I left some money in the account for a cushion, right? In case we had a bad month. Obviously, January is kind of crazy sometimes. So for me right here, I locked in 7,560 for the month so far. So, I mean, if you add that, I'll add that later. So we got 7,560. So we got that. And then my other account over here. So for that first account, I locked in 2,160 off that trade. The second account, I locked in 2,257. I guess the total profit on that one's 4,298. Because this account was started a little later. So this one right here is the new trial that I'm not trial, the challenge that I'm doing for the third 100K account. I locked in about 2,179 on that one, but I'm in total profit of about 2,938 for, I guess, the month. So plus 2,938. So, I mean, this is like total profits among the 3 FTMO accounts. So it's not that bad, about 14,000. If I take the 70% cut from there, take home still about 10,357. So not bad at all. Looks good. If you guys send me some messages, I haven't gotten to them yet. So you guys can see my Telegram is like blowing up right now, but I haven't been able to take a look at that just yet. Let me just scroll through these to see if I missed anything. No, looks good. All right, cool. So I think that's it for this, guys. There we go with our full TP on US 30. Hopefully you guys took that trade. Just a reminder, if you guys want to keep getting these free trades, just like this stream and subscribe so I can keep coming online. If you don't get enough likes, guys, I'm going to stop going online. You guys are going to have to take these trades on your own. So if you guys can, just like the stream, help the channel grow, and I'll continue to come on here, give you guys my trades for free, give you guys my analysis for free, and, just keep going. But yeah, guys, so let me go back to the chat, see if I missed anything before I continue on further. Let's see. Vincent said everyone is eating. Definitely. David said tearing up the Philly clubs. Razul said US 30 on fire, 100%. Merspot said, do you think US 30 will come back down after? I don't know yet, Merspot. So let me check real quick. So here's our US 30. I'm going to take off the stop loss alert because we already hit full TP. Let me see where the next zone is. So in order to identify, where the rejection point will be next, you got to go and see where the next zone is. So the next zone is actually up here. So if we go back on the 10-minute, it might push up a bit further before it comes down. So it's probably got some ways to go. I probably should just left the target off my TP, because if that's the case, it's probably going to swing up a little further. Maybe get to that point and then swing down. It doesn't necessarily need to swing down though. What could happen is it can break this point and then it'll be an all-time high again, right? Like a very all-time high. Let's see. Yeah, it's never broke that structure yet. So once it gets to that point, it can easily break right above it and continue on further. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, Merspot's kind of what I see happening right here. I don't know if it's going to come up here and reject off it, or if it comes up and break right through it. We won't really know, but I'm not going to risk it and be stuck in the trade if that happens. So we'll see how that happens. And then we'll continue on further. Let me see if there's anything else going on over here. Vincent said, took a super early sale right before the pullback. Nice, nice. Okay, cool. Looks good. Dennis said, not even trading today, but I had to show my family some love, like with a like and good fucking morning. Definitely, Dennis. Yeah, glad to have you here, bro. Some people just get busy sometimes, but it's all right. Profits will keep coming in. Yeah, Dennis just hit full TP. It hit full TP super quick, guys. Like it hit full TP in, man, how many seconds or how many minutes? Is that record time, guys? Hit full TP in about 20 minutes. So that was great. It was a great way to kick off our trading day. Let me see if there's anything else here before I continue. Flint said, Shawn, should we have an open TP? Yeah, honestly, I did. I left it open for a second and I was like, nah, I'm going to take my profit. So I just took my profit and I pulled out. Razul said, should have just let the US 30 trade run. Yeah, I know I should have too, fortunately, but it's all good. I'm happy with my profits. Merspot said I entered a Dell because a sell because catch the open. I'm done for always doing that. Yeah, Merspot's a risky move. Peter said, keep moving TP higher and higher as he watches. Definitely. Flynn said, Shawn, I exited the US 30 trade, made over 2K. I'm good. Thank you. Definitely, Flynn. Glad to hear. Flynn said, let's blow the horn. There we go. We got you guys another horn right there. Vishnu said, yeah, yes. My success, boys. Super Sam said, are we looking for a sell now? So Super Sam, I'm not necessarily looking for a sell because I'm not a counter trend trader. I used to be a counter trend trader for the longest time, but it usually doesn't end up playing out very well. The momentum here is so strong that I wouldn't want to take the opposite end yet, because it might push up higher to maybe this point, and then it might continue to skyrocket higher, right? So I wouldn't take the sell here. You know, for me, I like to trade momentum, so I wouldn't go against the momentum just yet. Maybe if it gets closer to this point, but I personally wouldn't do that, especially not now. Billy said, "Down, I missed it. Was cleaning after the kids. Tomorrow's a new day." Definitely, Billy. It's all good. You know, this is just one trade. We still have a couple days left in this week. Flynn said back to back, just like what Drake said. Definitely. Flynn said, "Let's stop looking at the US 30 screen so we don't have to FOMO for the FOMC day." I agree. Velocity said, "I think it's going to drop on US 30. I think a drop on US 30 is coming. I'm going to send you my charts." Definitely, Velocity. I think so too. If it reaches this structure right here, it's going to be the all-time high. Razul said, "Shawn, do you risk 1% of your account for each trade?" I risk about 1 to 3%, Razul, depending on what asset I'm trading. If I'm trading US 30, it's usually about 2% risk, a little over 2% risk. And that's why I lock in about 2,000 per trade. So that's why all my trades here, my profit's about 2,000, because obviously if it's a $100,000 account, I mean, it's a little higher. So if it was 100,000, let me see if I can do the math here. I was probably like at 105,000, so 105,000. That's right. And then I multiply that by 2%. So the profit for that's 2,100. So that's 2% risk. I'm making about there, 2,160, 2,257. So I'm a little bit above 2% per trade. And that's generally the sweet spot for me, because, if you need to pass FTMO, you have to reach about 10%. So if you're going for 2% per trade and you have 5 back-to-back wins, obviously you pass FTMO at that point. We usually have wins, so it's easy for you to pass FTMO if you just take this trade and use proper risk. And in some instances, you can increase your lot size depending on what you're trading. So let me continue going down the questions even further before I move on with these questions here. Lisa said, "What's your assessment on gold after the drop?" So let me check this real quick. I'm gonna add you to the list, Lisa. Lisa wants gold. Matt said US 30, very respectful this morning. We bless God. Definitely, Matt, 100%, no problem. Flynn said, "I'm up 4K on my FTMO challenge in the past 2 days. US 30 pays thanks to K2. Definitely, Flynn. That's why I only trade US 30 on my FTMO, because I know exactly what the profit potential is. I'm not risking anything too crazy. I stay within my limits, and I make a nice bunch of profit. So if I'm up about 7,000, my payout's like in a couple of days. So 7,000 on this account, I'll probably be up to like 8,000 tomorrow. Or actually, this isn't the whole month. It's like more. I think I'm up about 15,000 right now for the full account. So maybe around 15,000. I think my payout's going to be about 10,500, which is not that bad. I mean, it's not a huge amount, guys. But if I'm just trading US 30 and I'm making profit, I'm locking in like 15,000. I mean, I can't complain with this. This is just extra money for me. I make 10,000 off that, do this every month, make about 126,000 extra. That'll be enough to pay for our McLaren, right, David? Still looking at that McLaren, bro. I still only get the wrap done on my car. I'm getting it done next Monday. But yeah, I mean, this isn't something to laugh about. It's extra money to do whatever the hell you want. Because I trade this and I trade my personal account as well. So I make profits on like 5 or 6 or 7 different accounts. So it's pretty good for the most part. Let me see this real quick. Oh, man, did not take up my personal. Let me see. Okay. Damn it. All right, so the trade didn't take on my personal account, unfortunately. Some BS. But whatever. I got the profit on my FTMO, so I still made that profit. And I get my profit split, I think, on Friday, so I should be good. Yep, no complaints here. All right, so the next question here, Joey wants me to take a look at USDJPY. So let me see, Joey, USDJPY. Let me continue further right here. Flynn said, we are expecting US news today, maybe that swing. Yeah, Flynn, we do have a FOMC coming up in about a couple hours. It's still kind of early at 11. So in about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In about 4 hours, we'll have the the FOMC meeting minutes, and then from there, that'll probably affect the market. They're going to be discussing the economy moving forward. Nice. Shawn did a trailing stop, made some nice profits. Peter said, nice quick profits today. Love these kinds of days. Me too, 100%. Gold Quest said, UK took 1,000 from me last night, 15 minutes, but just made it back. Thanks, Shawn. Definitely gold. Glad to see you guys are making that back from the UK 100 trade. Razul said, any advice to pass the FTMO? I was thinking of just taking US 30 trades daily, 5% risk per trade. I wouldn't do 5% risk, Razul, because that's your max loss. You're going to blow your account if you have like one loss. So I'd recommend using maybe a 2 to 3% risk, closer to the 2% side, so that you have some cushion in case there's some sort of slippage. Flynn said, I think there could be a K2 pivots entry for a buy. Yep, this was actually a pivots entry right here. Price came up, retraced, rejection, buy signal, and then we would have taken that. So it lined up perfectly with our daily entry right there. So just looking at price right now, it's doing like what I anticipated it to, you guys. It's going to come up and test this structure right here, which is the all-time high. If it tests the structure, it can either break above it or it can reject pretty hard right off this point. So we'll see how this plays out. But I'm going to keep going through with these questions before I Flynn said all KT does is win, win, win. Let's see if there's anything else here that I see. Iki said, most people barely make 1,200 a month from a regular job. 10,000 a month is a lot for people. Yeah, definitely. I agree. So there's no complaints for me, guys, for making that much profit off FTMO. Just taking one trade a day. This is, it's pretty nice. And on top of that, I have my personal accounts too. So I have my Forex accounts. I'm making money off that. I have a couple other personal accounts I trade US 30 on. So there's a big, compilation of profits coming from different accounts. This is just my FTMO. Iki said, I did 13% from a few trades yesterday. Had I done FTMO, I would have gone in fun in one day. Yeah, definitely, Iki, 100%. CT said, AJ, risk trade short. Looks like wall hit supply. Yeah, so let me check out OJPY as well for CT. All right, guys, so it looks like I'm done with this right now. I'm going to go back to the question. So we have one question. I'm going to go down the list real quick. If you guys have any other assets you guys want me to analyze, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I have a list to go through right now. So for Trell, I'm going to look at Euro CHF. John, I have US oil. Usman, I have GBP AUD and GBP NZD. For Lisa, I have gold. For Joy, I have USD JPY. And for CT, I have AUD JPY. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs to look at. If you guys have anything else you guys want me to analyze, put them in the chat. Otherwise, we will continue on with these analysis. So looking at Euro CHF right here, looks like I marked up an entry right here, but I decided not to take it. I think it was because of the news coming up. But I'm going to go ahead and reanalyze this from scratch as we continue on. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off the chart, zoom out from this point, turn on the K2SRs, and then I'm going to draw my zones on the chart for you guys. So here we go. Lower zone down there. Zone right there. Zone right there. Zone right there. Let's create one big zone up here. So it looks like we're good with these zones right here. I'm going to go ahead and hide that, zoom out from this point. You guys can see how price respects these zones, right? So looking at Euro CHF right here, I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. Right here, we have a bullish momentum. So price broke structure right here. I'll show you guys an example. So for me right here, I think it's going to be a bullish move. It's just having a slight pullback right now currently. But overall, I think there's going to be a bullish move here. So right here, we have a rejection off the zone. So nice rejection off the zone right here, followed by a bullish buy signal, right? So we have another indication that price is going to continue up further. So right here, we have a bullish signal. And on top of that, we have price break structure right here, right? So we have 3 confirmations. We have a nice rejection off this support. We have a bullish momentum right here, and then price break structure. So what do you think happens when this qualifies as a bullish move, right? We have 3 confirmations: rejection, confirmation, and breaking structure. When that happens, we generally think that price is going to push up to this structure right here. So this is what I see happening for Euro CHF. I basically think it's going to continue up further. And then once it gets to that point, it can either break the structure and continue up higher, or it can reject off this point and come back down into a range, right? So those are the two scenarios that can play out there. It doesn't have a bullish bias. Obviously, if I take off the indicators right here, you can see that it's been establishing higher highs, right? So we have the low right here. We have the high right here, the higher low right here, the higher high right here, and then the higher low right here. So what do you think happens from there, guys, using basic price action? Obviously, price is likely to continue up higher, right? Price is likely to break this structure, continue up here, and then create a higher high. So we're going to move this even higher towards here or even higher from that point. So for Euro CHF, I have a bullish bias right here. If you were to take this trade, you can take a long position right here, right into the next structure, and maybe even take off your TP and continue riding it higher from there. So you guys can see here, if you guys have the K2 indicators, it's very easy for you to analyze this. You just analyze the zones, analyze the direction of momentum, and see where the clues point towards. So that's pretty much it for USCHF right here. Just another reminder, if you guys want to trade exactly how I do, not with regard to Forex, with regard to US 30, if you guys want the indicators here to identify these rejection points, to identify the direction of momentum, it's all available to you guys. Just go on our website, k2trades.com, and then you guys can sign up right here for access to the indicators, for one-on-one mentorship with me, for everything in general. And if you guys want to go back and watch all of my previous mentoring sessions and webinars, you can easily go on our YouTube channel, on the K2 Trades YouTube channel right here. And it has all of my videos right here. So you go down to previous live trading rooms. I trade every single day. You guys can see all the trades. And if you want to see my past live streams, I have my mentoring sessions right here, my weekly chart analysis every single day. And you guys can see how legit, K2 is, and that I actually trade daily every single day. So if you guys want access to that, it's completely available to you guys. So that's that. That's it for USCHF. Let's move on to the next pair over here. So I'm done with USCHF. I'm going to move on to US oil for John. And then we will continue to do our analysis from that point. So after I do this, I'll check the chat again for some more questions. Otherwise, we will continue on with this analysis. So our next analysis here is for US oil. I'm going to delete everything off the chart, give you guys some naked charts right here, and then zoom out. So here we are with the naked oil chart. I'm going to turn on K2SR, draw our zones right here. There we go. Right there, right there, and right there. And for this situation right here, we don't have an upper zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on the higher time frame, the 8 hour, nothing there. Go on the daily. Man, fuck. The market went crazier here. This is when the market kind of like stumped down right here. So I don't think we're going to be able to find a higher zone if we're going to factor in that. Yeah, we're not going to find a higher zone because the zones are all screwed up. So looking at oil right here, the reason for that happening was because of this huge drop where oil went to like zero basically, right? So that's why it looks like this. I mean, it's unfortunate, but let me see if I could find some zones on my own without identifying this freaking drop right here. Okay. So it looks like the previous swings right here. So this might be the next zone right there. So if I go back to the 4 hour right here, and then I go back to where price currently is, yeah, it looks like it's got a long way to go. So looking at oil right here, it looks like it has a bullish bias, kind of similar to what we were looking at previously. We turn on the momentum indicator right here. Price broke structure. So if price was to break structure from here, it looks like this long position would be it. And then we could probably see it move up from here. So looking at oil here, obviously it has a bullish bias. The bullish move started from down here, and it's been establishing higher highs and higher lows since November 1st. So down here was the low. Right here was the high. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then again, we have another higher high up here. So it's probably going to continue up further and push it up from this point. So this is basically what I see happening right here for US oil, right? I see oil pushing up higher to test this structure. And then once it tests that structure, it can either reject off it, come back down, or it can break above it and continue further. So two scenarios right there for US oil, although it does have a bullish bias. So if you're trading oil right now, John, I think it's going to continue up further. I think this comes back to where we analyzed yesterday, right? Because I think I analyzed gold for you yesterday, if not Sunday, and it's playing out exactly how we identified. I said if price was to break above the structure, it continue up further, and that's basically what happened here. We had a buy signal, broke structure, and then now it's continuing up even further from that point. So that's pretty much it for U.S. oil. So I think it's going to have a bullish bias. If you're in a buy already, it looks good, and it looks like you can still enter if you really wanted to. So. Yeah, it looks good right there. It's only up about 55 pips, so it's not too far up just yet, but it looks like it's going to continue up further from that point. So I think that's it for oil. Let me check out the chat real quick before I move on further and see what's going on over here. BK Trades said the website is confusing. Let me see. Which program do I need to get the indicator? I mean, I don't think it's too confusing, right? There's only two options here. There's either signals or strategy. If you want the indicators, it'd be under strategy because, I mean, the indicator isn't included in the signals. So BK, if you want to sign up to this, you just click a strategy course right here, and then it'll pull up right here, and you can enroll down here. And that's how you would get access to the indicators. It says right here to what's included. So obviously you get the courses, the indicators, the premium groups. But if you were to do the other option, there's only two options. So there's signals or the strategy, right? If you go to signals here, there's no indicators here. So if you were to sign up for this, just go on the website, click KT Strategies course, and then that's where you would sign up for the indicators. Or if you want to scroll down to the bottom, it's even down here. They have it right here. We had the trial guys last year, but it was actually cheaper. The trial was only $50, but I told you guys that it was going to expire at the end of the year. So there's no more trial available, but yeah, if you want the indicators, they're right here listed as well. So you can find it here on the website, or if you click on strategies up here, you can find it there as well. There's a couple different areas for you to get to that point. But yeah, that's pretty much it from there. Let me go ahead and take a look at anything else before we continue to move forward with the questions. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then we can continue to look on further. We have a couple more questions here for Usman, GBP AUD, GBP NZD, gold for Lisa, UJ for Joey, and AJ for CT. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different assets to analyze. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the questions currently. Let me just check out the chat real quick and see if there's anything else that I'm missing before we continue further. Flynn said, imagine buying gold when it was negative. I know, right, Flynn? That'd have been crazy. Peter said, to all the new people here, there's no one more honest, reliable that goes out his way to help than Shawn. Nothing out there comes close to how good K2 is. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, like I'm here to help you guys, whether you guys are in K2 or whether you guys aren't. If you guys are just here visiting, I'm still here to answer your questions. If you guys need anything analyzed or anything explained, I'm here to help you guys out. So, I'm fully transparent with you guys. The indicators are available to you, but it's not required. Obviously, if you want to trade exactly how I do and how everyone else in K2 does, it's available to you. You guys can make profits just like, everyone else here as well. Let me go to our team results. Like everyone here is making profits on their own, just trading themselves, So like Casey over here, he locked in for the day, $500. That covers your whole subscription with 1 day of trading. And it might seem like a deep investment, but look at these profits that everyone's making daily. I would exchange $200 a month for, hundreds of profits daily. And you can see everyone's profits here as we continue. Dennis over here locked in about 130 yesterday. And he's literally just like locking in profits. I think Dennis joined us like very recently. David over here locked in about 1,000. So you could literally cover your subscription with like one trade. But like I mentioned, it's not required. You guys can just hang out with us here. You guys don't need to pay for anything. But obviously, if you guys want to edge in the market, and you guys want to make tons of profit, trading on your own, it's available to you guys. So let me continue and see if there's anything else that I need to look at before we continue. CT said oil is better off scalping. It's heavy fundamental asset. Zone to zone, a smaller time frame from volume to volume. Keep in mind, oil likes to range in a happy sideways price exchange. I agree. CT, you can see it shows here clearly, right? Price breaks up, consolidates for a bit for a range, pushes up, consolidates, pushes up, consolidates, pushes up, consolidates, pushes up right here. So what do you think is going to happen here for gold? I mean, for oil, it's probably going to consolidate even further. It pushes up a little bit, consolidates, then it continues to push up from that point, right? Push up, consolidate, and then push up further to this point right here. So just keep that in mind with gold. Let me keep going through the chat, see if there's anything else to look at before we continue. I do see a lot of other side conversations going on, so I'm going to skip all of these other chats that are going on. Matt said, hi, Shawn, do you think the Georgia state Senate elections impacted the indices market? Probably. I'm sure anything that happens in the US will affect the indices market in general. Wow, look, so it's going to break the all-time high, guys. It's currently at the all-time high. This is why I wouldn't have sold, because it could easily break it. You know, I would be with momentum versus counter trend trading, because it's probably going to break right through it. And then we can probably see it shoot even higher. Man, I wish I didn't close my freaking position. I would have been up another 1,000 pips. It's all good, guys. You know, this is why it's kind of difficult for me to be live for you guys, because when I'm live with you guys, I can't focus on my own trades, right? I have to be here and answer questions. But like I mentioned, I don't mind going on here to help you guys. So in order for me to continue to go on here, you know, I already lost out on maybe another 2,000 profit right here because I was here answering questions and analyzing pairs for you guys. So I don't mind that. But the only thing I ask from you guys, if you guys can like the stream so that we can continue to grow the channel, and I can keep coming on here to give you guys free trades and free analysis. That's the only thing I ask for, guys. That you guys don't have to sign up for anything. Just help the channel grow, and I'll continue to go live for you guys daily. So let me see if there's anything else here before I continue further. But yeah, Matt, you know, this probably was affected by the Senate vote, but who knows? It could have affected it, or it could have just got pushed up because the markets were using that as a reason to push price up. And in reality, they were going to push price up anyways. Let me see if there's anything else that we can see here. Matt said, we're about 86 guys watching. Please push the like button, friends. Thanks, Matt. All right, so I think that's it for the questions right here. I went through the entire chat. I'm going to go down the list now. So Usman wants me to take a look at GBP odd and GBP NZD. Man, but look at gold right here, guy. I mean, US 30, guys. A brand new all-time high. How crazy is that? All time. Look at this high, man. We're in the middle of a pandemic, guys, and this is going crazy right now. So this looks great. You know, unfortunately, we got out of the, fortunately, but unfortunately, we got out of the trade and profit, but it's all good. If you guys ended up holding, you guys could have locked in even more. But yeah, other than that, we will continue on with the question. So next question is GA over here. I'm gonna pull up GBP odd right over there. Looks like it's within a structure. This looks like it would have hit full TP. I'm not sure if I called this trade, but I did take it on my own account, I think. Let me go ahead and delete everything off the chart. Zoom out from this point, turn on the K2SR indicator, and draw my zones. So we got this lower zone right here, which is pretty important. We've got these upper zones right here. This one right here. So right there. These above this area. And this one up here. So the key thing is to get the lower zone so that we know where the rejection points are as we move lower further. Nothing there on the daily. Weekly. So the weekly zone is right over here. Looks like it might be a little close. So we'll go back on the 4-hour, hide the SRs. And here we go. So Usman, looking at GBP odd right here, we have a bearish bias, right? Obviously, because we have a sell signal right here. So if you guys are familiar with the strategy that we apply for Forex, which is very simple and it's available to you guys if you guys want to learn how to trade exactly how I do. Basically, we have the all right, so let me just save this right here. We have the rejection from this point right here. we have another rejection from this point right here, right? So price rejected from here, came down, rejected from this zone, came back up, rejected from this zone. On top of that, we had a sell signal right here, right? We have two confirmations right here: rejection, confirmation of a sell bias, and momentum swing downwards and breaking structure right here. So as price breaks structure, what happens usually? It pushes down to the next structure down here, right? So if this right here closes again below this structure with the bearish candle, then what's going to happen? It's probably going to shoot down to this structure again right here before it decides to either swing back up from here or break through and continue down further, right? So two scenarios that can play out right there. But if price does break this structure right here, we can take a short position and ride this down a full TP for about 178 pips, right? So that's what I see happening right here for GBP odd, but we would have to wait for price to break this structure before we take this entry, because we don't want to enter this too early, because price can easily reject off this point as well, right? So the main thing for this right here is we want price to break structure downwards. So we need price to break structure down here, and then we can take that sell position. If price doesn't break structure, then we don't have an entry. We have about 2 hours left on this candle, so we have a lot of time for price to break structure. So in case this closes below there, I'm going to mark it. So on the next candle close, I can call this for a sell entry if this ends up closing below there. So that's pretty much it for GBP odd. You guys can see I analyzed that within a few minutes. If you guys have the K2 indicators, it makes the world a whole lot easier with trading, and you guys can be a lot more accurate and more profitable within, you know, a few days of practice. It's not that hard. All we do is I identify the structure using the K2SR zones, and you guys can see how accurate these structures are, right? You don't have to do any work. You just turn on the indicator and then draw your structures over the zones. So you have the zones there. After that, you turn on the momentum indicators so you know the direction of price. So you tie the structures, rejection points with momentum, and you guys have a golden strategy right here. And this is the only strategy I use for Forex. If you guys saw results for Forex last year, it was pretty phenomenal, guys. Like you guys have seen, I've counted every single trade. I've been fully transparent with you guys. And our Forex trades, we had 462 wins and only 146 losses for a net profit of 19,000 pips. So obviously, if you're trading a standard lot, you would have locked in nearly 200,000 just trading with me last year, all the trades that I've taken. And obviously there's more trades available because I do have to sleep. So I don't trade London session, but if you guys do have these indicators, you guys can take these trades on your own and you guys can have pretty much unlimited profit potential if you apply my strategies properly. So that's it for GN right there. We're gonna move on to the next one, GA. We're gonna move on to GN now. So here's GN right here. I actually had the requirements here for the zone strategy, just like I identified earlier. You know, basically price rejected off this point. Had a sell signal right here. And what is it going to do? It's going to push down to the next structure down here. It's exactly what I just said for GA. Same thing, same strategy, works on all assets. Easy peasy, right? Nothing, not too much guesswork there. I called this trade yesterday for GBP odd. So looking at it right here, I called GBP odd, or didn't I? I don't think I called it for you guys, but I did check the trade on my own. So maybe I didn't call that trade for you guys yesterday, but I did take that trade on my own account. I think what happened was I called it and then it was still within a zone. So unless the chat's just it's not loading right now. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I don't really see anything on there right now, but I did take the trade on my own account. So just looking at this right here, I'll analyze it from scratch just so you guys can see, and then we will continue on further. So I'm gonna go ahead and take everything off the chart, delete this. Oh, this is GN, sorry. Duh, I'm looking at the wrong one. So looking at GN right here. Okay, so I did take GA on my own, but this is the GN that I called yesterday. It was that same entry. So if I back up over here, so you guys can see that entry that was right there. That's the same one that I called right here. So I called a sell for GN right there. We took it, we hit TP1 for 25 pips, TP2 for 50 pips, and then TP100 for a full profit with like that right there. Boom. I don't know if you guys saw that last night when I posted it. She's right there dabbing 3 hit full TP right there for GN. So just looking at GN over here, I'm gonna go and delete everything off the chart. I'll just reanalyze it from scratch so you guys can see what's good. So zooming out from this point over here, I'm gonna draw my zones. We got a lower zone right here. We've got this zone. I'll just create a big zone right there. There's no point in me hassling over trying to draw these small little zones because price is way below it anyway, so it's irrelevant at this point. But yeah, looking at this right here, hide that, zoom out from this point. And same thing that I mentioned earlier, guys. So basically, we identified the momentum. So right here, we have the rejection off this point. We have a sell signal right here. And then we have a break in structure down here. So rejection, sell signal, break in structure. It's going to continue down right here. You guys can see the same pattern is just repeating itself. We had a rejection right there. Sell signal right there, and then what happened? It pushed down to this right here. It's the same thing, just repeating itself. Rejection, sell signal, break in structure, pushes down to the next structure before it ends up either rejecting off it or breaks below it. So that's pretty much what I see right here for GN. It's got a long, not that long way to go down. Let's see, it's got about 60 pips to go down. I might even just enter this and just write it for its, the rest of its way down. But we'll think about it. I still want to wait for any other entries that might appear, moving forward. So that's it for GN right there. So that's it for you, Usman. I think you had GA and GN. Next up, we have gold for Lisa. So let me go down the chat real quick, see what's going on, and then we will continue on further. Let's see. So you guys are talking about Flynn said US30 is jealous of Bitcoin, is trying to catch up. Wow, yeah. So it broke structure. It's at an all-time high, guys, for US30, and we'll see how it plays out. I might. So at this point right here, I think what I personally would do if I was to trade US30 is, obviously it's going to come down at some point, right? It has to come down at some point. So I would probably find where the lower structures are. And there's no lower structures. Like the lowest structure is like right here, which is like super far away still. Yeah, so like looking at price right here, like price is so far up that like, wow, okay. So if I look at this right here, this is the next structure right here. So in order for me to take a sell, I would probably, I wouldn't even take a sell at this point because it's such a long drop, like 3,000 pips. Yeah, this would be the next structure for it to come back down and retrace. It's pretty far off. I mean, I guess you could. So you could identify these areas right here. I probably wouldn't take a sell if it closed below here. But if price was to close below here, so if price came down from this point and closed below this structure right here, then I would probably take a short position right there. So that looks pretty solid. I wouldn't take it up here if it closes below here like it did over here, because this might not repeat itself. What might happen here is it might come down a little bit, and you know what everyone's going to do? Everyone's going to have their sell position right here because everyone's waiting for that sell. So if people have their sell right there, they're going to have their stop loss right here, same area as everyone else. And what I think would happen was it'll come down, fill your order, swing back up and stop you out. So that's why I'm not going to mess with this at all. I'm probably going to stay away from US30 for a bit until it stabilizes, because it's way too high, and I just don't see any confirmation of it coming down just yet. You don't want to bet where like everyone's selling right now, right? Because everyone thinks it's going to come down. Odds are it's going to keep pushing up further. So if we look over at the IG sentiment, IG sentiment US30. So looking at the IG sentiment right here, looks like Yeah, looking at the IG sentiment right here. Looks like, yeah, so there's so many people that are short in the market right now. Well, not so many people, but 73% of people are short US 30 because they're anticipating this to drop. You know what's going to happen? They're going to keep pushing it up. They're going to shake those people out so that this goes from 73% down to maybe 60%. Once you're 60% of people, then what'll happen? They'll charge up that sell and dump it again. So keep that in mind, guys. For US 30, I'm probably going to keep watching it. And then if I see a sell coming, I'll probably just enter it. But I'm not going to enter it anytime soon. Look at that bullish move right there. I would not sell right now, not anytime soon, because they need to shake out all those people that are still in the trade or trying to enter the trade, I guess. So that looks it for that one right there. Let me see if there's anything else before we continue on further. So I think that's it for that. Next question is gold for Lisa, but I'm gonna check out the chat real quick before we continue on further. Yeah, so it looks like gold came up, tested that structure, or it came close to testing it, and it came dropping right back down. So let me check real quick and see what is going on over here before we continue. Flint said people are 73% of people are short US 30 right now. Exactly, that's exactly what I just saw right now on the sentiment. Let's see. Flint said, Shawn, can you explain how you were scalping US 30 yesterday and why it was not successful? Yeah, sure, Flint. Well, the way that I was, here, let's go over it real quick because it's not very that in detail. The reason why it wasn't successful is because price was ranging. See how price was ranging sideways last night? If it's directional, it works very well. But if it's just ranging, you get stopped out either way because I was scalping it right here. Like I try to scalp for a sell right here, which would have hit. It actually would have hit. But the problem with this is that my stop loss was too close. My stop loss was about 500 pips, which was like my sweet spot right here. So you can see it hit my stop loss and then it came back down. So that's why my entry didn't hit on this one. And then same situation over here. I did the same thing over here. So I was using the new strategy that I was applying, the one that I was discussing where price has to close at a certain price point. So like if we had a sell signal here, it would have to close below this this buy signal, right? Which it did. Unfortunately, price was just too choppy. It's shot up, stopped me out. And then again, same situation over here. We needed price to close above or below this point right here again. So if you were to enter a short position, it just, there's just too much noise in the market where I couldn't cash these little scalps. The thing is, if my stop loss was wide enough, I probably would have done a little better. But unfortunately, stop loss was too tight. Normally it works. So right here, it was losing trades. But if you look at the trades from yesterday, like for example, right here, if you were to take this because it closed below the structure, right? It would have hit full TP right here for about 500 pips. Oops. See, like with like little to no drawdown, this would have hit full TP. Again, same situation right here. It would have hit full TP because the market was actually moving. That's why I don't really like to use it during Asia session. I was just being stupid last night. It was my fault for taking those trades because I was just impatient and I wanted to keep making more profit. So if I waited till like Asia session or London session, it would have hit full TP here. Like it would have been perfect trades. But I traded during Asia session like an idiot, where I always mention not to trade US assets during Asia session, well, specifically US 30. And I did it anyways, and then I ended up getting burnt. So this was my mistake here. I shouldn't have even been trading during Asia session last night, but I did. And, I accept the losses. And you guys see there, I post my losses as well. It's not just wins. I had 2 scalping losses right there, but it's fine because I had a small scalp loss right there, but I made profit yesterday and then I made profit today. So it's still balanced out. However, it would have been nice if I could avoid these losses right here, because the thing is, if I avoided those losses, let's see. So those losses added up to 1,020 plus 2,280 plus 2,415 plus those stupid scalps from last night, 120 and 810. So I lost a total of 7,545, right? So if I didn't take these losses and I add that to my total profit right here for 7,560 for the month, I would have been in profit 15,000. So I threw away like 7,000 in profit for my own stupid mistakes, but it's okay because I understand my mistakes. And as long as I end up in profit at the end of the week or end of the month, I mean, that's all that really matters, right? Because you want to get that payout from FTMO. So, you know, I'm being fully transparent with you guys. I lose too. I don't always win trades. Like you'll see some people and they have all straight wins, right? That's unrealistic. You're going to have losses. And I show you my losses here too. And you guys can see here that my FTMO is an actual funded account because you can't make withdrawals on a challenge account, right? So that's why this is a legit FTMO account that's funded 100K. Unfortunately, I threw away 7,000 bucks this month for these stupid trades, but it's fine. You know, I'm still taking some decent profit off that account. So that just goes to show that, you know, if you have discipline, even though I should have discipline, you can prosper with whatever thing you want to trade. If you want to trade FTMO, if you want to trade your own account, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's about it. So let me see if there's anything else over here to see if there's any. Yeah, so Flynn said, I hear you, Shawn. I find it really hard to stick to one trade a day, especially after feeling good about a big US 30 win, 100%. So like we had that big win yesterday. So I was like, all right, cool. Market's probably going to move, right? I was completely wrong. The market went sideways for the entire night. And I ended up getting caught in those trades. You know, thankfully I was using proper risk, right? I had a 500 pip stop loss. So I was able to limit my losses right here. Instead of going up to like 2,000 in losses, I only lost about 1,000 for one trade. I lost 800 for one trade. And then after that, I was like, I'm done for the night. I'm not doing this anymore because it's not working. So took a break, came back, made all that back this morning, another 2,000. There goes it covers my losses from yesterday. So it's all that matters, guys. And that's about it. So let me go ahead and take a look at the chat real quick, see if there's anything else that I see here as we continue on further. And then we can move on from here. All right, Vishnu said, I have a feeling during Asia session, US 30 might topple. I agree, Vishnu, because like I mentioned, you know, we talked yesterday during your live session, US 30 generally moves in waves, right? So 630 is right here. So we have this full wave right here, right? Midway through session, it usually ends up reversing. So midway through session will probably be like 11. So probably once it gets to this point right here, this is probably where it'll start dropping from this point. And honestly, it can probably drop all the way down to here because this is the ranging area right here, right? It might drop down to here, might drop down to here. It can drop down even all the way down to here. So we'll see how that plays out. And then into Asia session at 1500 hours, we'll probably see it. Yeah, exactly. So right here, it'll drop a little further. And then once it gets to this point, it'll just go sideways. So that's probably what we see happening over here. But we'll see how this plays out with time. So let me see if there's anything else that I need to look at before I continue further. Skillstrade said everyone in the mother is looking at to sell that now, 100%. Vishnu said possible outcome would be to hold a sell, wait for a retracement, act accordingly. I agree, Vishnu. That could work out as well. You know, just wait for it to start dropping, which would probably be mid-session right here, and then you can take that sell, and then you can put your stop loss, you know, somewhere maybe above where this swing is at, and then you can pretty much just write that down. So if you were to enter a short position somewhere right here, you know, I would probably put a sell stop. I put like a sell stop right here with my stop loss like right there or above it, maybe like 2,000 pips to be safe right there. And then just pretty much ride this thing down to like this area over here, right? This could be the setup for you here, but I mean, we'll see how this plays out. Here, let me check over here real quick and see if there's anything else that I need to see before we continue on further. Peter said, will we see US 30 hit 31,000 today? Let's see. 31,000 is over. I don't think so. That's kind of too high, Peter. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Because the thing is, if there's still a lot of people short right here, let's see, 73%. It's still 73%. They might push it up that high, possibly. Peter, it looks like it could. They could probably push it this high, stop everyone out, and then dump it. How far is it from that point? It's not even that far. It's about 1,000 pips. So it could easily spike up, wick, and then come back down and then stop everyone out. So we'll see how that plays out. It's actually not that far. It's a lot closer than I was thinking. I thought it was like way up, but it's a decent distance away from current price. So let me keep going down right here real quick and see if there's anything else that I missed. Okay, Super Sam wants me to take a look at NASDAQ. So Super Sam, NASDAQ 100. Let's see if there's anything else here. Peter said if we had 5 TPs for US30, we would have hit them all. Exactly, Peter. Damn, dude. Yeah, right. So if we had that right here, so like check this out. If we had our long position right here, we had 1500. Damn, yeah. So we'd hit TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, TP5. Damn. Yeah. So we would have hit this trade 5 times if we had 5 TPs right there. Man, what a move, huh? That would have been great. It's all good though. It's not about the what ifs. It's the what has happened. So we did lock in some nice profits. So I'm happy with that. I'm not complaining. But yeah, we could have locked in a lot more profit if that was the case. So let me see if there's anything else here. I think that's about it. So let me continue down the chart real quick, and then we'll continue further. Flynn said maybe the FOMC news will be the reason why the banks push price down, but that seems too obvious. Yeah, I mean they're gonna find different reasons for why they'll push price. You know, obviously price is gonna react to news one way or the other, and they're just gonna blame it on news anyways. It just really depends on what their agenda is behind it all. Okay, yeah, so Flynn answered your question, John. Thanks for that. Merspot said, is it possible for US30 to keep shooting up, or is there like circuit breakers? No, there's no circuit breakers for the upside, Merspot. There's circuit breakers for the downside, but not for the upside. And even for that case, it hasn't pushed up like 10% yet. It has pushed up like 7% in order for there to be circuit breakers, right? So this is only 2%. It's not even close to where circuit breaker range is. It would have to drop at least 7% for the circuit breakers to get activated. And then even at that point, it probably would continue to push on a little further. So let me continue on with this over here. See if there's anything else that I need to look at before we continue. Merspot said, thank you. Why 2 monthly? There's only 1 monthly, BK. Not sure where you see 2. If you go on the website, there's a monthly and then there's the annual. So one is monthly and one is annual. For this, you have to pay this in lump sum full. For monthly, this is the only monthly that we have. So that's what the monthly is. If you click on the button, you'll see what it is. I mean, a lot of people ask this question, but if you just simply click on the button, you'll see that that's for the annual subscription. This is for the monthly subscription. So just keep that in mind when you go on the website. There's only 1 monthly subscription there available. Okay, so let me go on forward and see what else we got here. We have a couple questions. So we have gold for Lisa, UJ for Joey, AJ for CT, and NASDAQ 100 for Super Sam. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Yeah, no problem, BK. I know it's something, some people do get confused with that because it shows those 2 numbers, but it's not really it's a monthly plan. It's just broken down. So if you do the annual and you divide it by 12, that's where you get that price. But yeah, no problem, BK. So let's see. CT said updated chart on oil. It hit huge volume area test. Should see 43.5. So let me take a look at that real quick. Let me see if I could pull that up over here. Let's get this chart over here. See if I can get this. So this is going to be CT's chart for gold. I mean for oil. So let me just pull up oil real quick. I think I still have my markups open from earlier. So we got this here, US oil. Oh, wrong chart. Sorry, guys. Yeah, US oil down here. This is my markup right here where I have it pushing up to the next zone. Here is CT's markup over here. Yeah, so it looks like CT has similar markup, but he has a zone where price currently is. So he's on the daily for oil. Let me go on the daily real quick. Huh. Let me see where he's. Oh, he might be using a different chart. I don't know why mine looks different. Unless those, yeah, those are probably different zones drawn by CT, because I don't see those zones right there, CT, the one that you drew on this point. I mean, I could see it happening right there. It looks like it's a pretty smooth rejection point. I just don't see it on my end. Let's hide this right there. But I could see where you have that zone drawn up. It's right here. Yeah. So if I draw my own zone right here, I could see where CT identified that liquidity. So right there, I just don't see it on the K2SR, but looking at this here, it does line up with CT's analysis right there. So it's auto, zoom out. Man, this candle here is freaking crazy. Look at that candle, guys. If you guys were trading with us last year during March or April, huge drop. But yeah, it looks like it is at some resistance right here. So depending on where you draw your zones, I don't have that zone on the K2SR, so you guys might have missed it if you guys weren't able to identify it yourself. But from CT's chart right here, I do see it at some resistance. So it might come back down, or it might just consolidate from this point. It might come up into this structure and then consolidate, then shoot back up eventually. So that's basically what I see happening with gold for the most part. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So CT uses zones plus volume zones. Okay. Awesome. That definitely makes sense. Skillstraight said that's insane. Longest candle I've ever seen. Yeah. So if you guys traded with us in April, gold like went to zero because they were like releasing the new contract prices for the barrel. And if you were following it, you would see here that it, oh man, don't tell me I have internet problems again. I don't know what's up with the internet. It, I think you guys can still see me and hear me. It's just my, okay. So yeah, looking at gold right here, you can see from that time, it went from, it went from 18 bucks down to $0 literally. And then it shot right back up. So that's it for gold, right? I mean, for, sorry, I keep calling it gold, it's oil. So that's it for oil right there. I'm gonna look at gold now for Lisa, and we'll analyze it from that point. Or did I analyze gold already? Let me check. No, I didn't. Okay. So looking at gold right here, I'm gonna go ahead and delete everything off the chart. I'm gonna zoom out from this point. We have a naked chart there. I'm gonna turn on my K2SRs. And then a whole bunch of text messages here I gotta respond to. Yeah, let's go. All right, so I'm gonna look at gold right here. Like I mentioned, we have a naked chart there. First thing I do is I turn on the K2SR indicator. Sorry guys, I think I'm having internet connection issues because it's let me refresh this. There we go. Okay, so I do have the zones right here on the chart. Looks like the internet connection is kind of getting spotty right now, but it's all right. Let me go ahead and draw these zones for gold right here. That zone right there. You know, I'm just gonna connect these zones together because it's kind of relevant where price currently is, since the zones are kind of spread out for the most part. Got that right there. There. Let's connect that together. I'm gonna go look for a higher zone because we don't have one currently. Have one right here. Then we have one up here. All right, yeah, so looking at gold right here, turn up the K2SRs. Looking at gold from this point, it looks like price rejected from here. Yeah, so price rejected from this point, and I think we might have a sell signal. So let me pull up this right here. We do have a sell signal right here. So what can happen right here is if price breaks this structure, it can probably continue down to here. However, if price doesn't break structure, it can easily reject off this point and correct back up, right? There's like two scenarios here that can play out. First scenario, obviously, if this closes with a sell signal, then price can go from this point. It can either come down, break structure, and continue down further, or it can reject off this point and swing back up. So right now, Lisa, I wouldn't trade gold because it's just it's going to be easily manipulated at this point because it can go either way. It can either reject off this point, or it can break through and continue further, right? So I personally wouldn't trade it right now because, looking at what happened previously when a drop like this happened. So if we go back to previous data over here, I mean, it's happened a lot of times where it's just a little fake out. So price right here rejected off this point. You got a sell signal right here. But what happened? It didn't come down, right? It ended up rejecting right back up. Same situation right here. This can easily reject right back up as well. Looking back at even previous data, look at right here. When price came right here, it rejected off this point. We had a sell signal right here. Instead of it pushing down further, it pushed right back up, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that can play out here, but I don't think it's going to come down that far. If you look back, just keep looking back to every time this has happened. It's just been a slight retracement. We have a rejection right there, sell signal. It does test the structure, just like I mentioned. It always tests the structure, but then it shoots right back up. So that's kind of what might happen here. It might come down, test the structure, then shoot right back up, or it might even come down further, test this structure, and then shoot back up from there. So I still have a bullish bias for gold. I just think that right now it's having, some sort of retracement because of the U.S. news this morning. I mean, obviously we have FOMC coming up in about 2 hours. With that said, it's going to affect the market pretty heavily when the minutes are released because there's a lot of different factors that are factoring into the U.S. dollar right now. There's COVID news, there's the Senate voting, there's just a lot of things that are affecting the US dollar, and then if that happens, it's just going to be like temporary because we don't see the US dollar getting any stronger anytime soon, right? The reason for this drop right here is because everyone is longing gold. We looked at the IG sentiment yesterday and everyone is long gold. So what happens when everyone's long gold? They do the opposite, right? So there's 80% of people long right here, right? You don't want to trade where everybody's trading, right? I always tell you guys to not trade where the sheep are trading, because if you trade like the sheep right here, you're going to get burned. So they push price up so much to hype up gold, right? Just like I mentioned yesterday, if you look at all the previous webinars where I analyzed gold, I mentioned that they were hyping up gold right here so that people can keep buying gold. So many people are long gold right here, but now they're done hyping up gold. They're gonna shake people out of this trade. So this has dropped about 500 pips. That's a lot of pips for gold. And it's probably just going to keep dropping, right? It's going to drop probably to here to keep stopping these people out. Once this number lessens to maybe 60%, then it'll probably shoot right back up. So I wouldn't mess with gold right now. It's going to be spiking around a lot. So you're going to see price go up and come down, then go up and come down. If your stop loss isn't too wide, then you're probably going to end up getting stopped out. So I wouldn't mess with gold right now, but this is just, example of what could happen from here. Obviously, I'm going to see it go up long term, but short term, I see it going back and forth before it ends up going upwards. So that's it for gold right there. Let me see if there's any other questions as we continue. Peter said oil is the black gold. Definitely, I agree. A lot of people made a lot of money last year trading gold, and a lot of people lost a lot of money as well when it went to zero. Let's see, Zephyr said, hi, Shawn. I'm looking at USD CHF. If it breaks structure on the valid signal, is the trade still valid despite not hitting our stop loss? So let me go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So Zephyr wants me to take a look at USD CHF. I think I got out of USD CHF. So I don't have any active positions right now. Let me see. Yeah, I exited all my trades. So I made about 1,000 yesterday, I think, off my Forex trades because I was like about 4,000. I'm up at 5,000 now, getting close to 6,000. So I made about 1,000 yesterday on my personal Forex trades. And then on top of that, I had my wins for US 30 as well. So Let me go ahead and go down the list further, and then I'll get down to your question shortly, Zephyr. So I have, these are the ones I have coming up next. I have UJ for Joey, I have AJ for CT, I have NASDAQ 100 for Super Sam, and I have USD CHF for Zephyr. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise I'm going to go through these pairs. And if we don't have any more questions, we might be calling this session off a little early. I've been on this session for about 2-3 hours now, so I kind of need a break before I continue on further. But yeah, so I think that's it for right now. Let me see the next pair. So we got UJ over here for Joey. And pull up UJ over here. USDJPY. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and delete everything off the chart. Take off the momentum indicator. We got some naked charts right here. Turn on the K2SR indicator. And here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw this lower zone right here. Draw this upper zone right here. This one right there. This one over here. And this one over here. Lastly, this upper zone, which is kind of relevant, but we're going to draw it anyways. So that's it for UJ right there. I'm going to go ahead and hide that, zoom out from this point. Looks like it's obviously in a long-term downtrend right here. Reason for that is that the US dollar is weak and the JPY is a safe haven currency. But like I mentioned, with all the US stuff going on today, Senate vote, COVID news, updates, all that stuff, that's why it's pushed up right here. But I see this as being a temporary pullback. So looking at the momentum indicator right here, if this closes above here, you might be able to take it, but I personally think it's a risky trade, me personally, right? Because I think the US dollar is still weak. I think this is, it's just a temporary move up. I don't think it's going to push up any further. So this candle might not even close up there. We have about 1 hour 30 left in this candle. I think by then it's probably going to swing back down and not close above it and then make a move right back down. So that's just from my experience and what I expect to happen. But just analyzing this from where we currently are, for one, price is in a very strong downtrend, right? Obviously, if you look from here, it's in a very strong downtrend. So I don't really expect it to swing up just yet. I don't see enough news strong enough to push the US dollar up right now. Let me go and pull up CNBC and see if there's anything that could really affect the price from this point. See if there's anything here. Stock exchange. Yeah, so it looks like the Georgia runoff actually pushed price up. So this is like temporary, guys. I don't think this is going to hold very long. So I wouldn't take a long position here for UJ because the US dollar is still weak. It's not strong yet. Just because this is happening, it's not going to make a huge difference with regard to, there's a lot of bullshit going on in the world, guys. Like, check, we got the Georgia runoff. So here's one thing affecting the market. Now we got Congress certifying Biden's victory, but Trump is still pressuring Pence to interfere, right? So this is going to affect the market right here. This is going to affect the market right here. This is going to affect the market right here. Private payrolls, post first drop. See, like there's a lot of things here that are affecting the market, indicating a weak US dollar, right? So this is a weak US dollar. The numbers are not good for the US, but what happens? US 30 shoots up like crazy. US 30 shoots up. The US dollar is strong right here. It just doesn't make any sense. Fundamentals don't line up. COVID news right here. There's a lot of news here that's not really, see Macy's is closing. There's a ton of things here that are affecting the market negatively, but US 30 shooting up and USD is shooting up as well. So I would be careful right now with your trades because I think this is a temporary spike up. I don't know if it's going to continue pushing up further for very long, but I think it's just temporary right now. I don't think it's going to keep pushing up like up until next week. It'll probably push it for today, maybe tomorrow, and then eventually it's either going to push up to this point, which you could have taken the trade, but then it'll eventually come crashing right back down, right? So that's what I see happening right here for this pair over here for USD. But if you do want to take this trade, Joey, you can. I personally don't recommend it, but if you do, if it closes above this structure, Just going back to our requirements right here. Let me see. Sorry, I'm looking for that tool. So going back to the requirements right here, we have this rejection off this point, bullish signal. The last requirement we need is for price to close above this structure, right? If it closes above the structure, you can pretty much ride this to the next zone right here. However, it's only 30 pips, so it's pretty risky for you to take a trade like this right here. Just to catch that little pip movement right there, I would probably just wait for it to close back below and swing back for a sell. Yeah, I don't necessarily see this pushing up for too long, but it's only 30 pips, so it could be a small scalp where you can hit full TP and then it ends up dropping right back down after. So just keep that. Oh, okay, see, yeah, Joey said I was in a sell, got stopped out. So for UJ right here, all of this, like I mentioned, this move right here is like a temporary spike up. The reason for this is because of the news going on in the world, with the Georgia runoff from yesterday. That's what started the push up. So they started counting votes around this time, 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. yesterday. This is where the Georgia runoff began, like throughout the day. And then from there, it ended up shooting up, right? So it's shooting up temporarily right here. And then what could happen is it'll just end up spiking down at some point. So, this is something that you probably couldn't identify, Joey. Obviously, we've talked and we've had our sessions before where I implement like outside information. I implement fundamentals into the mix, which is something that you don't necessarily learn right away. It's something that you learn by, sitting in on my sessions and listening to me talk, because I'll give you guys hints every day of what I'm looking for, but there's no like cookie cutter pattern where you can identify news affecting the market. Basically what you want to do is you want to see when these crazy movements happen right here, like how price spiked up from this point up to like about 100 pips right here. And then think about, what caused this move right here. For me specifically, I identify this move caused by the Georgia runoff and like this Trump news over here, right? So these are the two news events that happened recently. And this is what indicated what this move up was. So this is something that you probably couldn't have avoided unless you really knew how to analyze, fundamentals. But fundamentals aren't always a necessity. It's just that it provides explanation as to, why price pushed up like this. So, it's unfortunate if you hit stop loss, but it's all right. Just eat that loss and we move on to the next one, because stuff like this happens randomly and we just don't have any control over it. All right, so that's it for UJ right there. Let me see if there's anything else that I can look at before we move forward. So that's it for UJ. Next, we'll look at AJ for CT. Let's see, we got AJ over here. And then, yeah, looking at AJ right here, AJ is a different story. So for AJ, I saw, I think if you guys followed my webinars for the past 2 weeks, maybe the past month, I indicated that the AUD pairs were going to be bullish, right? And they did exactly what I thought, bullish at full TP. Odd CHF right here. I wish I called this trade. If I did, it would have been to TP1 already, nearly to TP2. Odd JPY bullish. Odd NZD. This is it's a ranging pair because they're conflicting pairs. The AUD and NZD usually move in the same direction. That's why it ranges most of the time. And then AU right here, it's bullish as well. So that's pretty much what I have seen right there. But let me go ahead and take a look at AJ right here. I'm gonna delete everything off the chart and then we will analyze this from scratch. So let me go ahead and delete that. We have naked charts right there. Turn on the K2SR. And then from this point, we will move forward. Yeah, no problem, Joey. That happens sometimes. It sucks. It's happened to me a bunch of times, but you'll bounce back from it. It's not a big deal. It's just a lot of news-driven stuff going on in the world right now. So something that you couldn't avoid it, but it's all right. Eat that loss, and then we'll move on to the next one. So here's odd JPY right here. I got that right there. I'm gonna find that upper zone. Where's that upper zone at? All right, so odd JPY is actually at some resistance right now. So I would be careful with taking that trade or even thinking about taking the trade right now. So I'm gonna go back on the 4 hour right here. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this, zoom out from this point. So price is currently at a resistance for RJPY. Let me see what I can see happening here. Right here, it's at resistance. Let me turn on the momentum indicator to see the direction of momentum. We have a bullish momentum right here. So as price broke structure right here, using the same requirements that I've been discussing like this whole day, I just use this one strategy, guys. So if you guys have access to the K2 indicators, this strategy is all you really need. Right here, we have a rejection off the support, right? It's followed by a bullish buy signal where it broke structure. So we have a rejection, price came up, retest, broke structure right here, buy signal. From that point, it tested this structure right here, right? And then what I mentioned was if price breaks this structure, odds are it's going to continue up further, which it did. So again, right here, price broke structure. We had a bullish momentum right here. So we had a rejection, bullish momentum, broke structure right here. Long position over to the next structure right here, right? Would have hit full TP for about 112 pips. At this point right here, price can do one of two things. Price can either break through the structure again and continue further, and we take another long position right there as it pushes to the next structure up here, right? For about 70 pips. So scenario one is price could break structure and continue up further. Scenario number two is price can easily reject off this point and head back down. And then if we get a sell signal like we did right here, I mean, it's the same situation. We have the rejection off this point. We have the sell signal. And then what happens from that sell signal? It pushes down to the next structure down here. So for example, here, if we get a rejection off this point, we have a sell signal, then it can come down, test this structure down here. We can take a sell. Vice versa, if price breaks structure this way, we can take a long position and ride this to this structure up here. So there's two scenarios that can play out. Price either breaks this structure right here and continues up further, or price rejects off here. We get a sell signal like we did right here, and then it ends up testing this structure down here. So two different scenarios that can play out in this point. But we won't really know until price reacts to this structure right here. We have to wait for price to either break above it or price to reject off it and provide a sell signal in the opposite direction. So that's it for RJPY right there. Pretty simple. I do see it having a bullish bias long term, or maybe for the rest of the month. So I'd probably be pushing for it to cross above here and continue up further. So that's pretty much it for RJPY right there. Let's move on to the next one. We got Super Sound with NASDAQ 100, and we got Zephyr for USDCHF. Let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing in the chat before we continue further. Brian said, sent you a DM on Telegram chat later. Definitely, Brian. So I think I did see your message here. So looks like, let's fix this over here. Looks like, okay, cool, perfect. So if you guys want to sit in on my one-on-one session with Brian, I'm going to go live for the one-on-one mentoring session with Brian right after this. And we're going to cover a couple different things on your list. So I do see your list, Brian. We'll definitely chat about that once we enter your session after this. But meanwhile, I'm going to finish analyzing these specific pairs right here. Or let me check this real quick. Yeah, hey Brian, quick question. Would you rather us, do you want your private session like on a separate session, or do you want to just have it on here? Because if you want to have it on here, I can just invite you to the Zoom room and then we can just have it directly on here, so we don't have to sign off and create another another session. So let me just, here, I'm gonna message you real quick. I don't know if you're still in this chat, hey Brian. I'm just gonna ask Brian real quick. I'm not sure if you're still on here, Brian, but I did send you a question to see if you wanted to either continue your mentoring session on here, or if you want to create a separate room, because I can do either one. It's just whichever is easier for both of us. So let me go ahead and continue on with these questions real quick. and see if there's anything else that we need to cover. So John said, if Democrats control Senate, there's a good chance for a big stimulus good for US 30. I agree, definitely. All right, cool. And then CT said he's already in a trade for that one. Let's see. Varun's asking, why didn't you use your 30-minute time frame strategy? Because I don't want to be on the chart all day anymore, Varun. I don't know if we talked about this in your session, but I mentioned that I used to trade on the 30-minute, but I trade on the 4-hour now because I don't want to be on the chart all day. Obviously, if you're trading on the 30-minute, you have to be on the chart, all day to catch these moves here. But me personally, I don't want to be on the chart all day. Varun said combining signals and trend meter. Yeah, exactly, Varun. If you want to apply it, you can, but I mean, you don't need to. Like there's different ways to apply the strategy. Like I think the last time we had our session, I mentioned that I don't like to be on the chart all day anymore. If you trade on the lower time frames, you have to be on the chart more often, right? Because a 30-minute candle closes like twice every hour. So I don't want to be on the computer all day. So that's why I trade on the 4-hour now. But if you wanted to trade on the 30-minute, I mean, you could, and you still would have hit TPs there. You could have taken all these buy entries and you still would have hit TP there. But it's your choice. If you want to apply that strategy, if you have time to be on the computer all day, then you can apply it. But for me personally, I don't want to be on the screen all day. It's just time consuming, if I'm going to be on here trading this. But it does work. I mean, if you wanted to apply it here, you could have had a win right here, win right there, win right there, probably another win up here if it pushes up further. You'd have, let's see, one within the zone right here. You'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins right here. So if you wanted to do that, I mean, you could have made more profit, but like I mentioned, I only trade on the 4-hour now because I'm not on the screen all day. I make enough profits trading the 4-hour. I just trade the 4-hour, increase my lot size rather than trading on the 30-minute and being on the screen all day and pretty much getting sick of the charts. So, I mean, you can apply it if you want, but I personally don't trade on the 30-minute anymore. I only trade on the 4-hour. But okay, so we have one last question, I think, or actually we have two. We have two from NASDAQ, from Super Sam for NASDAQ 100. No, Varun. Wait, I thought we talked about this. Didn't we talk about this in your session? You're supposed to put your stop loss at the previous swing. You don't have it set to a fixed 25 pip because the fixed 25 pip isn't going to be your it's not always going to go to 25 pips. If it goes to like 30 pips, you're going to get stopped out. So let me just find an example here. I'm not sure if you're following the strategy, Varun, because you're supposed to put it at the previous swing. So like, for example, here, if you're, let me see if I could find an entry right here. So like right here, if your stop loss is 25, you would still hit these, but it doesn't always hit 25. So let me see if I could find an example where it gets close to, see, like right here. Okay, like right here, for an example, right? So let me just delete this right here. I'm gonna show you an example why you wouldn't use 25 and use what I've been, teaching, because you would have gotten stopped out at this point. So like right here, if you had your stop loss at 25 pips, you probably would have gotten stopped out. Let me see. Sorry, I got confused with the entry over here. Let me see if I could find. So I was just looking at one right now, and I got confused with this over here. Yeah, Varun said, yeah, we talked about it in the session about trading view and auto stop loss TP. But yeah, I mentioned that the auto stop loss TP goes to the previous swing. It doesn't just automatically go to 25 pips, right? If you remember what we talked about, I said that if you put the auto stop loss, it goes to the previous swing. Like for example here, if I go to, let's see, like this right here, if you use the auto stop loss, it's not going to go directly to 25 pips, right? You get in a long position right here, it goes to 33 pips. or you put it at the previous swing right here, it'd be 18 pips. There's no place for it to really be 25 pips right here. If you go to the swing right here, you just round it down to 20 pips. I mean, technically you could go to 25, but I don't know where you got that number from. There's no magic number that says price is going to go 25 pips. So I wouldn't recommend that you do that, because you're just guessing at that point. You're just like, oh, if I do 25 pips each time and you think it's going to hit, there's no guarantee it's going to hit 15 pips, because generally price goes from the swing. So like for this situation, if we were to enter a long position here, see, if you use the auto tool, it'd be 21 pips. It wouldn't be 25 because it'd be way too far down. You'd be increasing your risk. And then vice versa, if you were to zoom out from it and use the auto tool, it would be 33 pips. So I'm not sure where you got that number from, Varun. I don't know if you just thought about, 25 pips sounds like a good number, but I wouldn't just guess. Like I would put it at the previous swing, or I would put it, if you're using the auto function tool, it would be this as well. So I definitely would not recommend that you use a fixed number for placing your stop loss, because like CC even mentioned over here, he said just measure in swings in the time frame you trade, because all pairs are different. So if you're trading on the 30-minute, these swings vary heavily. So like right here, if you were to take a buy position, your swing would have been 20 pips. You could put it to 25 pips, but that's not going to help you in any way, because it's not always going to be 25 pips. Like for example, right here, this one's totally different. It's like 15 pips. So if you put your swing to 25 pips, it's going to be even farther back. So it just really depends on what you're applying, Varun. But I think you might just have a little bit of some confusion there. You're trying to use a fixed lot for Forex, but there's no fixed stop loss for Forex. If you want to trade properly and you want to be a profitable trader, you got to trade at the swings. You don't trade at a random fixed lot. The only time you use a fixed lot is if you're scalping, and 30-minute isn't necessarily, a scalping time frame. That's where you would trade like on the 10-minute, maybe 15-minute in some cases, or the 5-minute, where you can have a set fixed stop loss, like at like 10 pips, 15 pips, 20 pips. But I don't think I've never used 25 pips as a sweet spot. I've never thought about that as being the sweet number either. So I'm not sure how you figure that out. Maybe if you'd be a little more detailed, I can answer your question better, but I would never use a fixed lot size for Forex unless it's something that you back tested and you figured out on your own. But I'm pretty sure you probably haven't, because you just started applying this. So I wouldn't necessarily use that, more specifically. You have to trade with actual skill, not just off, luck that you think it's going to go 25 pips. Because like, for example, here, this pulls back. This is like about 25 pips for this specific one. But for these other pairs over here, huge difference, right? 40 pips versus your 25 pip stop loss that would be here randomly. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next pair, because I still have to get through to this other session next. So let me go check this real quick over here. Mercibah said US 30 coming down. Yeah, it might be, or it might be a fake out as well. So it might be coming down right here, but what could be happening possibly is it could come down slightly, and then it could come back up. So it might have a little retracement, and then it might swing back up from here. So I personally wouldn't enter just yet. I would wait for it, possibly wait for it to push down slightly below that. Gotcha. All right, cool. So I think that's it for this right here. Let me see. So I think we're good on that. Let me go ahead and take a look at whatever is popping up next, and then we'll continue further. Yeah, so I wouldn't trade US 30 just yet. We would have to wait for that to confirm, either for it to break below here. I probably wouldn't enter until it comes way down here to be sure, because you don't want to enter right here and then it ends up spiking right back up to stop you out. And just going back to what I was mentioning earlier, so I have a one-on-one session with Brian in about 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to answer the rest of these questions. And if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to put them in the chat now, because this is all I have right now. So I have NASDAQ 100 for Super Sam, and then I have USDCHF for Zephyr. Other than that, I don't have any other questions. So once we finish those 2 questions, I'm probably going to log off of this session, but then I'll be going live again in about 30 minutes with Brian, if you guys want to sit in on our one-on-one mentoring session. So if you guys want to get notified when I go live for the other session, because I don't post the link publicly, just like this stream and subscribe to the channel, then YouTube will know that you want to keep seeing my content. So when I go live for that session later, they'll send you an email like, hey, Shawn's going live for a one-on-one mentoring session. If you want to join this session, click this link, right? And then you guys can sit in on the session and you guys can listen to all of the questions that I'm answering for Brian. We have some pretty good questions for him here as well. So I think you guys would definitely want to sit in on it. Let me see. So Brian wants me to go over, he's taking a 80,000 euro challenge, which is the 100K account for FTMO. So he wants me to cover details for that. So if you guys want to see what I have to provide with regard to his questions with that, that'll be available during our mentoring session. On top of that, he wants me to cover some other strategies as well, UK 100, which is not my strategy, but we'll still look at it. And then he wants me to cover the zone strategy on the 4-hour time frame on Forex. So we have those 3 questions. And then on top of that, we have a risk management strategy plan that he wants me to cover for him as well. So if you guys want to sit in on the mentoring session in about 30 minutes to an hour, you guys can join that. And I'll be going over some pretty important things with Brian with regard to helping him pass his FTMO. So feel free to sit in on that. If you guys want to, just make sure to like this stream and subscribe so that YouTube will send you an email when I go live. Okay, but other than that, let me go back to NASDAQ over here and check this out for Super Sam. And then after that, I have USDCHF. And then I think that'll be it from there. I'll be logging off and then logging back on for our mentoring session. So here we go with this. Over here, we have the NASDAQ 100. There we go. So it did pretty much what we discussed yesterday, right? It pretty much just played out the same way. Let me go ahead and draw my zones up real quick. I'm going to go on the 1-hour chart, turn on the K2SRs, zoom out from this point. Varun's asking, when will we be the UK strategy completely back tested and open? The strategy is not mine, Varun, so I'm not going to be back testing it or providing it at all. That's just a separate strategy used by the London group. They're doing the back test on it. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to take some time, but it's not available. Like it's not going to be taught in the course because I don't teach it. So I might teach it at some point once I've back tested enough to understand that it actually works long term, but it's not going to happen anytime soon because I just don't have time to go and back test that strategy on my own. You know, obviously we have the back testing group that back tests the strategy on their own time, but I personally would want to back test it on my own to know exactly how it works. So we're probably not going to see that anytime soon. And it's, you know, I have my hands tied with like Forex and US 30, and I'm already doing pretty well with it. Plus I don't trade London session, so I'm probably not going to be providing that strategy. But the London group will probably give more updates as we continue further. I think we have a meeting tomorrow. Let me check. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. I have a meeting with the London group tomorrow, so we're going to discuss the strategies. And we'll see if I implement it into one of the official strategies. I don't know about that yet because, you know, I don't trade this asset, or I don't trade UK 100, but I mean, we'll see how that plays out. It just wouldn't make sense for me to really apply it or teach it if I'm not going to be applying it myself, right? I want to teach you guys something that I actually trade so that I know, you know, exactly how it moves, how everything forms, and, you know, all the different patterns that form for that specific asset. So just keep that in mind. It's just a reminder, it's not my strategy. So it's just a spin-off off the US 30, and it's according to Mark. So if you want to learn more about that strategy, maybe speak with Mark or Jazz or Alkin or Spencer, the guys in the London group, so that you guys can, you know, have a deeper look into that strategy. But okay, so looking at NASDAQ right here, I've drawn the zones. I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator on the 10-minute. We have a bullish momentum right here. So it looks like what's happening here for NASDAQ is that it's forming a break and retest. So basically right here, price shot up from this point. So basically price shot up from here. Here, I'm just going to draw this from this point. I'm going to use the ellipses. It's easier. So we have a rejection from down here. Price comes up, test this structure, then comes back to retest this structure right here. From this point, price comes up, rejects off this point, then retest right here, right? So we have price break, retest, and then it's probably going to shoot up even further. But we're already midway through market. It's already 9 a.m. So this might even come down further. So two scenarios can play out for NASDAQ right here. Either it continues up further for a break and retest, or it closes back below here with a sell signal and then comes back from here to correct back to where it was earlier, right? Yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I mean, for the most part, NASDAQ doesn't really respect technicals. Obviously, you can see price break structure pretty easily if there's news that's affecting it. So looking at CNBC over here, let me just refresh this. Looking at CNBC over here, it looks like everything's bullish. You know, the Dow's bullish, S&P is bullish, NASDAQ is slightly bullish, it's only 0.30%, and the Russell 2000 is bullish as well. So just looking at all of these indexes right here, it looks like it'll probably continue to be bullish. So from my own personal perspective, I think this is going to retest this structure, and then it's going to shoot up to test this structure right here. Then once it reaches this point, it'll either continue up further or it'll reject off this point. So there's a ton of different scenarios that can play out for NASDAQ right here. I personally wouldn't trade it right now because it's how the market's been moving. Obviously, we had some crazy movements this morning. So this can literally spike up or spike down. I wouldn't say that there's like one way or the other way that's really biased, because this can easily reject off this point and shoot up pretty heavily, or it can come down right here and swing right back down, right? It's just really going to depend on how it moves. Like looking at US 30 right here as well, like a lot of people would have anticipated this to sell off, right? Doesn't look like it. It looks like it came down, then it's going to shoot right back up further. That's kind of what I see happening here for NASDAQ. I see coming down for a break and retest and then shooting right back up from here. But we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. You know, we still have about a couple hours left in this session, but it looks like volatility has already died down. We had this huge volatility from market open right here. Price went from 630 and it pushed up all the way up here for about 230 pips. So at this point right here, it's probably just going to break and retest and shoot up even further. So that's basically what I see happening for NASDAQ. But with the volatility dying down as we get closer to the end of the session, it's probably going to slow down. And I wouldn't want to be caught in this trade, too late, and then the market dies down and then you end up having to hold it into Asia session. And then it ends up screwing with you, because you can see right here, whenever it enters Asia session, it starts to consolidate a little bit before it continues to move further. So I do have a bullish bias for NASDAQ right here, because the previous signal was a bullish candle right here. It broke structure, continued up, and then it broke structure again right here. So I anticipate it to push up at least to here, but at this point, it's probably going to either reject off it or break through. But like I mentioned, you know, it's going to be really iffy right now, because let's see where everyone's trading. So we'll use this for an example right here. Look up NASDAQ 100. Yeah, it's pretty even. It's only 51% people long, so it can really go either way. It can go long or it can come down. My guess is that it's going to go long. So just keep that in mind. But like I mentioned, I wouldn't trade it right now because it's too late into the session. It's already 9 o'clock. Once we hit 10, people are going to go to lunch, or even right now, people are going to lunch, and volatility is going to die down. Then you can get caught on either the good side or the wrong side when people get back. So just be careful with that. We will continue on with the last question. So I think this is it for right now. The last question we have is USD CHF for Zephyr. Other than that, I think that's it for today. So I'm going to go ahead and answer this question for Zephyr, analyze USD CHF. After that, I'm going to get off for about 30 minutes. I'm going to have a small breakfast, and then I'm going to hop on for the mentoring session with Brian in the next 30 minutes. So if you guys want to hop on that, just remember to like this video and subscribe. That way YouTube will send you an email notifying you that I'm going live for the mentoring session, because I don't share that link publicly. So that's about it for NASDAQ right here. Let me go ahead and move over to USD CHF. Go back on the 4-hour over here. So looking at USD CHF, I'm not going to redraw the zones because we already have these drawn from earlier, and I don't want to mess up everything that we already have marked up here from the previous entry. So for USD CHF, we had price drop down to TP2 right here for a gain of 30 pips, I believe. And at that point, I closed out of my position already. So USD CHF right here. Yeah, I called this trade yesterday or on Monday actually at 10 p.m. We entered that short position right there. It hit TP2 for 30 pips right here. And that's where I got out of the trade. So it hit TP2 right here. It's pushing up to retest this structure up here. And then I think it's going to come right back down, Zephyr. So I would hang tight. I wouldn't exit it, just because it's pulled up like that. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a temporary pullback, right, for the US dollar. The reason for this pullback right here is because all the news happening in the world, with regard to this, with the Georgia runoff, with the Trump trying to stop Biden from being certified as, the president, or the next president, and the payroll pricing right here as well. There's a lot of news here that isn't beneficial to the US dollar. However, the US dollar is slightly pushing up, just slightly, but I think eventually it's going to come right back down. So Zephyr, I think you're fine if you're still in USD CHF. However, I recommend this week that you use the exit strategy, because I already exited this trade. I think I made about like 300 or 600 bucks off this trade, so it was pretty nice. But I personally would be careful, because there's just no guarantee that price is going to move as smoothly as we want it to, especially with NFP this week. How price gets all crazy as we get closer. It's midway through the week, where it's Wednesday now, so NFP is like in about 2 days. So I'd be careful with this specific trade right here. Yeah, so Zephyr said, yeah, so my question is, if a valid buy signal is painted plus it breaks above the structure, does it invalidate the whole setup? No, it wouldn't, because like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were here when I was analyzing all the other pairs. I analyzed UJ as well, right? So I analyzed here and I said that this bullish move right here is a temporary push up. I don't think it's going to hold through within the entire day. It's just because of the news that's happening right now. So like there's a lot of news here that's affecting the market. So I don't think this is going to be a full move. I think this is just a temporary retracement upwards. And then at that point, it's probably going to come down. So I wouldn't invalidate the trade for that specifically. Even right here, let me see. It's only about a 25 pip move from this point anyway. So even if that does happen, it can do exactly what it did right here, right? It can come up. If that does happen, like temporarily, it'll come up, test the structure, and then come back down. So that's why I wouldn't take that, because this little spike up right here is due to the news, right? All of the USD pairs spiked slightly. So like right here, the USD gained in strength for like one candle right here, right? But then it's going to push right back up this way. So we're implementing other fundamentals, confirming that the US dollar is not strong. Like right here, this is temporary. This is probably going to swing back down. Same with UJ over here. It's a temporary push up. See, if I was like when I was analyzing UJ earlier, I mentioned that this is probably not going to close above this structure, because this was just a move based on the news this morning. So it's starting to lose its steam right here, and it's going to come right back down. Same with USD CHF. I wouldn't take this trade even if there was a buy signal, because this is all news driven right here for that specific news that just happened. I expect it to come back down eventually, and you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of the trade. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Let's see. Zephyr said, I'm just wondering whether after a setup, can it be invalidated, or it doesn't until it reaches another structure. So it could be invalidated if this was a normal move. So if this was a normal move where it reached a support down here, right? So if this was a normal move where there was a support down here, then yeah, it could invalidate it because we have the rejection from this point right here. Sorry, let me fix this. We have the rejection from this point there. And then if we have the buy signal and then it closes above the structure, then that would invalidate the trade, right? Of course, it would invalidate the trade. The difference with this right here is that this is news driven. It's not necessarily moving because there's a support here. There's no support down there yet. If I turn on the K2SRs, there's no area of rejection. The next area of rejection is, let me see if I can find it. Let's see, I don't even think there is an area of rejection anywhere nearby. Yeah, because price hasn't been down here in a very long time. Let me see. Yeah, so the next area of rejection is like way down here. So until it reaches an area of rejection, there's going to be no confirmation that it's actually rejecting. This like spike in price was just based on news. The next area of rejection is like way down here. Oops. Cancel that. Yeah, the next area of rejection is so far down that we can't even see it from here. So for me specifically, unless there's an area where it rejected from, then you can confirm that price is swinging in the other direction. Because like I mentioned right here, price generally goes from zone to zone, right? If there's no lower zone down here, then this isn't I wouldn't say a valid, but it's not a legitimate swing back up. This is just because of news. But if there was a zone down here, so say if there was a zone like right here, or a zone down here, or even a zone down here, then you would be like, okay, it got close to the zone, so it's probably time for it to reject back. But just putting in all the fundamentals, it just doesn't indicate that price is going to continue up for very long. Let's see. So Zephyr said noted on NFP and impact on signals. Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, we have NFP as well, right? So for NFP, the news is not going to be good. Obviously, it said right here, private payrolls post first drop since April, as coronavirus spread hits job growth. So like, for example, there it's indicating that NFP is not going to be good, right? So for that situation right there, we definitely would not be able to see it push up that far to invalidate the trade. And just like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things that go into factoring these trades. There's a lot of fundamentals that go in. You probably don't understand all the fundamentals just yet, but for me, since I do kind of understand it, I can indicate that this is probably not going to push up from that point. So there's a lot of different factors that come into it. It's something that you'll learn from sitting in on my sessions every day, because I talk about this daily, and you guys will see what I look out for. Let's see, Zephyr said understood. So if a new K2 resistance structure appears and it's touched, the setup is invalidated, correct? Not necessarily, if it's Zephyr. So I don't know if you didn't understand everything I mentioned before, but that's just one factor. That's not the only thing that you look out for. I think you would just have to practice more. It's hard for me to explain to you because so for one, there could be a factor where there's a rejection, right? That could be one factor. But the thing with this right here is if it, say if we got a buy signal like you're mentioning. So I'm just going to use a scenario here. Say scenario, we have a buy signal, it rejects off this point, and then it pushes up further up here, right? That's what your hypothesis is basically. Price rejects off the point, we have a buy signal, then it closes above here. If that happens right there, you have to factor in other fundamentals. So the main fundamental is the US dollar strength, right? If the US dollar isn't strong, there's no way it's going to push up very far. And if you understand how the fundamentals are working right now, the Swiss franc is a safe haven currency. So if there's all this craziness going in the US right now, the Georgia runoff, plus on top of that, the Trump issues, and then on top of that, economy is very bad, it's going to confirm that there's no way that price can push up that far. You know, it'll probably push up to here, but it's not necessarily a move that's supposed to be happening. It would be a manipulated move, because what could be happening here is there's a lot of short sellers, and what they're trying to do is they're just trying to spike price up. They're trying to have a stop loss hunt where they stop everyone out, and then it ends up coming right back down. So it's probably something that you don't get right away, Zephyr. But you know, I'm just giving you hints as to like what to look out for. Just because there's a zone down here doesn't necessarily invalidate the trade, because you can see right here that there was a zone right here, right? So I'm going to use this for an example. Price came down, rejected off this area, buy signal, it closed above here, but then it ended up coming right back down, right? So this is basically what I see happening over here again. You know, vice versa, again, right here, same situation, price rejected off this point. We had a buy signal. It pushed up to this structure right here before it ended up coming right back down. And this all ties into fundamentals in the market. So this is basically what I see happening again right here. It might push up slightly, reach this structure, and then come right back down. So for me personally, I wouldn't consider that an invalidated move. The only reason it would invalidate is if the fundamentals and the rest of the other factors tie in to this specific pair with regard to that direction. So like if we see the US dollar strong across the board, where we see this coming down, we see the euro coming down, we see the GBP USD coming down, we see the NZD USD coming down, then that would give you confirmation that this is probably going to reverse, right? So that's another factor that you can factor in with regard to looking at correlating pairs. But you know, like I mentioned, you'll pick this up along the way. Just keep sitting in on the sessions, and then just take notes on like what I'm looking for, because there's a couple other things that I look out for, not just these zones, when factoring in whether I'm going to enter a position or not. So hopefully that helps. Other than that, I think that's it for the questions here. Hey man, Man's here. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Man said US 30 sell off on Friday. We could probably see that happening over here as well. Yeah. You know, like I was mentioning, it's probably going to come down eventually. So it's going to come down eventually. And then when it breaks this, like one of these parts over here, then you can probably enter a short position down from there. But I wouldn't enter right away, because it's just a little too risky for you to enter, you know, at random. And then it ends up coming down, testing the structure, and then shooting right back up. There's just a lot of ways to analyze this, but I wouldn't enter a sell just to enter. I could definitely probably see it by Friday. So tomorrow's the 7th. Yeah, definitely. So like right here on the 8th, it'll probably come dumping, because the NFP is not going to be good. So here we go on the 8th right here. Yeah, it'll probably keep going up sideways like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, on Friday. So we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, I think that's about it. Yeah, no problem, Zephyr. Glad I could help you. You know, sorry I couldn't really be very detailed with my response. It's just there's a lot of different factors that go into analyzing this. It's not as easy as just identifying structure and then watching it bounce off. The only reason it's hard for us to identify it for these specific pairs is because there's like heavy manipulation going on with the US dollar. So that's why you know, you have to kind of factor in different things, and it's not just based on technical specifically. But yeah, guys, so I think that's it for the questions here. Unless you guys have any other questions, I'm going to log off for about an hour until like about 10 a.m. And then at that point, I'm going to be going live again for the one-on-one mentoring session with Brian. So if you guys want to log in on that session and just sit in and listen to me teach him, we're going to be covering some very specific things with him here. Let me see. Brian. So he has a lot of very specific US 30 questions, specific questions to FTMO, basically helping him pass FTMO, and with regard to risk management and the zone strategy. So if you guys want to sit in on that session, I'm going to go live in about 30 minutes to an hour. If you guys want the link to that, just subscribe and like this video, and then YouTube will send you an email when I go live in about 30 minutes. So until then, guys, thanks for showing up. Hopefully you guys locked in some nice profits for US 30. I sure did. If you guys looked at the at my post over here, you know, I locked in about, I think, yeah, 6,000 in total, because I locked in about 2,100 per trade. So if I locked in about 2,100 times 3 FTMO accounts. I locked in about 6,300 plus about 1,000 for my Forex trades last night. So for today, I'm up about 7,000, which is not bad at all. And I'm happy, guys. I'm happy. Hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are passing your FTMOs. Other than that, I'll catch you guys later. And if you guys want to sit in on the mentoring session in a bit, I'll be there in about 30 minutes to an hour. So thanks for showing up, guys. I'll see you guys later, and I'll catch you guys either in the session later or tomorrow